He said he's just gonna throw the music on after.
All right, so we here, I guess.
That's awkward.
You know what I'm saying? The reason for the awkward start today, people, is you know what I'm saying, we ain't have our intro music. That's probably gonna get put in front and post. Shout out to post production. But y'all know what it is, man. It's Classic Wood was good, aka Spoonie Love from up above. Bree is here, sleepy as ever.
Yep.
Business is booming, just to let y'all know, for those who haven't ordered yet.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? The Sassy Squared shop has been getting mad orders. Heavy on the glitter pens. Can you explain why? Specifically those?
If you want me to be honest, I think it's just because we offer better than what everybody else offer. Everybody else offer like one pen for $5, and they don't get a refill ink.
Yeah,
I do 3 for $5. All of them come with a refill.
Custom.
I don't see why you should buy a pen that doesn't have extra ink. At least once. After that, you're on your own.
Yeah. But
you
to
better
me,
Amazon like everybody else.
To me, that felt like a lifetime supply, because realistically, like, you usually handle a pen probably the entire year before you start worrying about ink.
I think it depends on when you're using them. Like, I made them for Easton's teachers, or just his teacher, his one teacher. And I feel like she'll use hers more, because she up front wrote me a message about, I love these pens, and was using that pen already.
Yeah.
So her being a teacher, she'll probably use hers a little bit more. Of course, I'll make sure she's good to go before the school year ends, like before the school year ends for him. Just because I like her so much. I had that lady from the bank that ordered, I think, a total of 12.
Yeah.
Her, I think she's going to use hers mainly at work. Being at a bank, we know customer facing. It's a good chance she's going to use her pens a little bit more.
Definitely.
I'm not sure the other two.
I was about to say, any other businesses you want to shout out?
No, she works for the Bank of Commerce in Mississippi.
Okay.
Which is great.
Shout out to the SIP.
Because y'all know if y'all listening, but of course I can't guarantee she listening.
Yeah.
I also work at a bank, so bank to bank, that's pretty dope.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess it just depends. Like, I feel like you should have a refill, and there's times you don't know if that thing's just gonna die. Some inks just die.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
So just the fact that I get to offer the refill, I don't see why I shouldn't, because I can.
So shout out to Sassy Squared Shop. Y'all can find that on social media platforms. Order on Etsy, order on social media. We're gonna be on Amazon soon, because I know y'all some Amazon heads out there. Still do custom work, pens, badge reels, shirts, whatever you need.
And I'll start throwing it out there now. If you're in Arizona at the end of April 30th and May 1st, I will be at the Women's Expo for the first time.
So there you go. But let's get into the sports, man. Sports news galore. It's just that season. You ever notice sports got like certain seasons where like chaos break loose and then it kind of get calm again?
That's because there's so much that goes on in multiple sports at one time, and then they combine together and don't nobody know what the hell going on anymore.
First, shout out to my favorite sport, curling. We did not get to go, but we still medaled. So shout out to curling.
They had the bronze, didn't they?
Yeah. We didn't have the support we needed. We should have came out heavier for our curling team. But NCAA, I want to talk about my team, which is the University of Michigan. There's been a lot of headlines there. First one we overlooked, right, because of everything that was going on with the Super Bowl and everything. But Harbaugh has returned. He got an extension. I think he is extended through 2026.
Yeah, he said that this is the last time he was going to look at coaching in the NFL. He said he was done with it. He promised.
I don't believe no coaches. I'm going to be real with you. I don't believe none of that.
I mean, people gotta remember his brother's an NFL coach. So if his brother were to even reach out and say, hey, so-and-so said they'll give you head coaching job, starting salary of this, you're going to listen to your sibling. You got to.
And plus, by 2026, he would have sent so many players to the NFL that
his own players might start asking for him.
Yeah, they're going to start looking for him, and they're going to start asking for him. So I don't foresee him staying in the college ranks. Like, I feel like it's good to have that legacy somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, Tomlin got that legacy in the NFL. Bill Belichick got that legacy in the NFL.
Yeah.
Coach K is Duke basketball. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's good to have that legacy somewhere. But when I'm gonna be real. When he did that interview for the Vikings, I was like, that's a bad look, bro. The Vikings, that's where you thought you was gonna change the world at? Like, and the turnaround for the NFL is way too high for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, coaches get fired for any reason. Superstar can be unhappy, anything. And we saw that with the legendary coach Rick Carlisle. Luka wasn't feeling him with the Mavericks.
Yeah.
And he had to remove himself because you knew how the owner, Mark Cuban, felt about Luka. He knew how he felt about him, but you know, Luka's significantly younger, and that's the future. So you can remove yourself or
I don't know. I think another thing that might hold him back from the NFL is you don't want to compete with your sibling 24/7. Like, that gets irritating. So why can't you hold college hostage while he holds NFL hostage?
Yeah, I think
let it stay as such.
I feel like the first time was special. Like, when they both went to the Super Bowl, that was cool.
They loved that, but honestly, like, I think you get sick. I don't know if I'd want to work for my siblings 24/7.
Yeah,
I love them to death, but good Lord, I would need some space.
Y'all gotta watch y'all mouth about conversations whenever y'all hang out, because y'all low-key competition.
I make you mad because I beat you or you don't talk. Like, that's just so much.
Yeah,
it's too much at one time.
Yeah, it's too much tension. But I'm happy. I think it did leave a little bit of a bad taste in the university's mouth. But I think that go both ways. Like, he took a pay cut, you know what I'm saying, and then he donated a lot of money to the people who wasn't getting paid during the COVID period. So I really think that NFL move was a money grab to come back up. But like I said, we happy. His record is impeccable at Michigan.
Mean, the university gonna have to get over it. The offers are always gonna be there. He's an amazing coach.
Amazing.
Nobody's not gonna sit there and say, "Hey, have you thought of? Hey, would you like to consider?"
Yeah,
you gotta be prepared that he's gonna be asked. And if you don't like it, then
he's an impeccable coach. Regardless of what media tells us, right? That his record is impeccable. He don't lose like that. He always got people going. He
always at least got a winning season. It might not be like constantly a bowl game, but it's a winning season.
No, it's always a bowl game. It's always.
Well, I mean, like top 4.
He pretty consistent in the top 10 since he's been there. But with, like everybody been harping on, it's hard to make it past Ohio State. He got a good record, but they got a better record. And that's been pretty universal for like 20 years now. Like, them Alabama, that's like a 20-year period of it ain't that likely that you're going to be better than them. And this is coming from somebody who hate Ohio State. Like, I recognize the skill level that come out of there. So happy to have Coach Harbaugh back. He a legend. Now Juwan, basketball, the men's side. Everybody know about the predicament. A little bit of a kerfuffle broke out, if you will.
Kerfuffle?
Yeah. I always look for moments to whip out kerfuffle. And this
knew you was waiting to bring out something.
This is a good moment. A little bit of a kerfuffle broke out against Wisconsin. Basically, a timeout got called at a distasteful time. It was only like 10 seconds left. Michigan was getting beat pretty bad. They called the timeout to break Juwan's press. He didn't like that. It's like an unspoken rule, right? Like, I think in any sport, when you getting beat to a certain point, once you get to a certain amount of seconds, you just kind of hold the ball and let the time run out. Like, you know what I'm saying? Excuse me. But there was like no reason for you to still be going to the clock went out when the game was decided. Like, at like 3 or 4 minutes, right? So it was highly distasteful. That's the impression that was left for Juwan. He called the timeout, did the little press breaker, was looking to get more buckets, even though the game was over, which was like an added disrespect. At the end, Juwan clearly didn't want to speak to nobody in the handshake line. Coach hit him with the woman beater grab, right? Got right in the arm. Tried to strong arm Juwan so he could explain to him why he took the timeout. Juwan immediately got escalated. He was heated, finger in the face, started yelling at him, told him what it was. Assistant coach came in, players came in. It started off as a punch, but I think the money started speaking to Juwan's body, and he open hand smacked him instead, so he didn't end his coaching career. So an open hand smack was delivered, and then players started throwing blows as fast as they can. That was pretty much the breakdown. How'd you feel about that, Bree?
I mean, I wish you could have been more adult about it. I get you upset, but you setting an example for all your players too.
Big facts. You thought the suspension was fair?
I do. I'm surprised they didn't say suspension for the rest of this year until next season. That's probably where I would have gone. Because they just said to the end of the season, and we know there's a good chance they're going to make it to postseason, so you're going to let him coach postseason.
Through March Madness.
I wouldn't even let him coach through none of it. I'll be like, listen, you're done for the year. Hit us back up when it's time for the new season to begin so we can refigure this out.
Man.
But it's like, he played in the NBA, didn't he?
Yeah.
Like, you're supposed to be this person that these players can look up to and be an adult, because by essential standards, a lot of them are still children, like they're kids. And all you did was show them emotions can get the better of them no matter what. And you let your emotions ride everything and rule everything, causing this whole big scene for no reason. Now you got players looking at suspension because they got in a fight because of you.
Yeah, trying to stick up for their coach.
And if you lose players, there's no guarantee y'all could play. Y'all might have to forfeit some games. You got to forfeit a game. All you're doing is dropping the team as a school more and more because you can't play.
I don't think they was going that deep in the tournament anyway. I watched a few of their games. They just not hitting like they usually be.
Right. But still, it's like you don't want them to lose out on that opportunity just because you upset.
Right.
Where's that fair?
Right.
So I agree he should be suspended for the remaining of the regular season. I'm petty as fuck and would have told your ass, yo, hit us back up when next season starts. I'm not firing you, but you cannot coach for the rest of this season, regular and post. We make it far in postseason, great, we made it. If we don't, we don't, whatever. But if we don't and you feel like it's a consequence because of what you did, suffer the consequences, because the kids would have had consequences. If that had been a student, that student would have got their scholarship yanked and they probably wouldn't even be on the team anymore. So the fact that you didn't lose your job over it is one thing, but you got to have some sort of consequence because these kids are also getting consequences where a couple of them can't play the next game. So I agree. I don't think he likes it, but tough titty.
So it's a little bit of depth to this, right? And I want to get into that. First off, I want to say that I do agree with it. I'm a Fab Five baby to death. I let everybody know that. So Juwan is close to home personally for me. Juwan, Jalen, C-Web, the whole Fab Five. But so the thing that you don't know about and some of the viewers might not know about is that was kind of like an olive branch, right? Because recently the University of Michigan start trying to get back on good footing with the Fab Five. Mm-hmm. Because if y'all all know the Fab Five story, the University of Michigan just basically shit on the Fab Five and turned their back on them. Probably at their highest point. You know, it was the whole ripping down the banners and not acknowledging the Fab Five, and I believe it was C Webb, that was Chris Webber, that was banned from the campus, and Jalen Rose refused to go back. Pretty much all the Fab Five refused to go back until they got on good footing, which was recently, which was basically football season. Once Michigan made it into the playoffs, the Final Four, that's when they actually reached out and tried to get back on good footing, because I believe they took the ban off of Chris Webber and they sent them like this whole package to come to the football games. And Jalen Rose was like, I'm not going until my brother can go. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I think that was an olive branch, because you don't want to make this peace offering with somebody as legendary as the Fab Five and then turn around and fire one and basically ruin his career. That's going to set you back to basically where you was.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They still not in perfectly good footing with the Fab Five. Jalen Rose makes that clear every time he comes on television. Like, we doing better, but we not cool like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's still a few ways that they shitting on us, yet they still making money off of us. You know what I'm saying? Like, they moving my Jalen Rose jersey, but we not cool.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you shit on us, but you kept making money off of us. So it's still a little tension there. So I think that whole not firing Juwan was basically a key olive branch for that. Now this is a sore spot for me as an athlete. Well, as a person, really, because I'm flawed in such that I'm with the shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, me, if I was the head of the school, I know what the right thing is, but I respect what Juwan did, and I would have did it too. The only problem I got with Juwan is he threw it at the wrong person. That's where the suspension game in. Because the head coach, I believe in its boundaries you can't cross. If a basketball game went down and you see a coach doesn't even want to talk to you, like he doing 90 to get past you, and he don't, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he shook the player's hand. As soon as it got to the coaches, he go a little wider. He mad, he already cursing. The last thing you should do is strong arm him, like woman beater, strong arm.
Yeah.
Like, in life, if you do that to anybody, it's going to escalate to a fist fight. That's pretty much guaranteed. So when he did that, I had no problem with him throwing a blow, because you asked for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, my problem is when he grabbed him, he had a conversation with him and he threw the blow at the assistant coach who walked up after. Assistant coach ain't do nothing. He might have said something it could be reckless.
That the assistant coach was like reading the room better, and maybe the head coach just really wasn't reading the room.
But the assistant coach could have said anything. That's why he got the blow. But you know what I'm saying? Like, don't put your hands on nobody. That's what I feel like the NCAA is overlooking. Like,
yeah,
anytime you put your hands on anybody, it's a good chance it's gonna escalate. Happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, we see that 100 times. Yeah, he's the leader of man and he could have handled it better. But I would never want to send a message to a kid that anybody is gonna be strong arming me out of here and I'm supposed to be a leader.
No, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I see it that way too. I think part of it too is maybe he just didn't read the room. Maybe because it's so loud when you're going to leave. Like, the court's loud. You got kids talking a million miles per minute, media, everything.
Yeah.
And maybe he didn't like physically look at him and he thought he just had walked off and maybe didn't hear him and grabbed his arm that way. Because, I mean, there's going to be times where you really want to get somebody's attention to say something and you like go to reach out and it just looks in a negative way. I agree. You shouldn't put your hand on anybody. So there could be so many things because those courts be loud. I've been on that court when people break, like when people start to leave. That's just loud as hell.
Yeah.
I can't hear shit. So if you come up to me and you grab me like you're trying to get my attention,
my thing
maybe you didn't know I was ignoring you on purpose. I don't know.
A timeout though is nothing that you strong arm somebody about, especially somebody who don't want to talk to you. Like, if you
that's what I'm saying. Maybe he called his name and Juwan ignored him and he didn't know that
but
he's that upset, and he's like, hey, like I called you, like.
But that's clear though. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you going over to chase down a coach, then you already know they don't want to talk to you. That's why you're chasing them down. You know you already left a bad taste in that coach's mouth. You know what I'm saying? So you should already be aware of how you approaching them. The woman beater grab ain't your go-to move. You know what I'm saying? Like you got siblings. Siblings know when they piss each other off. And usually when your sibling piss you off, the woman beater grab ain't the go-to move. Like, no, I can't. I was about to say, I can't imagine that. And me, I'm thinking from a parent side, right? Like if we leave the kids with a coach because that's part of their pitch. The part of the pitch that comes with it is, yo, I want to teach your children how to become more than a basketball player, how to be a man, how to think about life after this sport. Yeah. And I'm responsible for your child now. I want to protect them. So if I'm watching my son's coach get manhandled by this little 5'2" dude, and he just roll with it, when the kids come home, I'm be like, yo, you got to protect your coach. Yeah. Why you there? You know what I'm saying? If something bad go down, like, you know what I'm saying? Easton, you what? Let's call it 6'2" now. Guards get as tall as 6'9". Yeah. If they pop off on you, how I know your coach gonna go out there to protect you? He got manhandled by somebody 5'2". You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just how my mind works. When you pitch to somebody that you're gonna protect your child, protect a child, you need to know how that go. Georgetown coach, Allen Iverson. They found Allen Iverson, Patrick Ewing. Yeah. He did that same pitch to go get Allen Iverson to go to Georgetown. Do you know he went to the biggest drug dealer in DC's house, fully equipped? Damn. To go get Allen Iverson and was like, nah, this ain't it. If my son got a coach like that, oh, we good. You know what I'm saying? Like, as soon as you see my child getting off track, you coming up there like I would, like you actually their parent. Yeah, we good, bro. But the way Juwan reacted, like I said, it's a flaw of mine because that's not good business on no level. Right. But you got to throw it at the right person, bro. That's all I'm saying. Like, you didn't escalate. You ain't hit him with a combo or nothing. You open hand slapped him. It kind of turned into a mush. So you thought about it. Like, I got that. But I think the suspension was adequate. It was 5 games, which is pretty much the rest of the regular season. If y'all make it in the postseason, I'm pretty sure the media is going to come back out to drag you. You know what I'm saying? Because it looked like you got rewarded. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, he just took a break for about 5 games and now he's back and he might head to the Sweet 16. Like, people hate to see people make it to the Sweet 16 when they're supposed to get punished. Right. But if they playing as bad as you say they've been playing, then you gotta work on it. Yeah. But I mean, y'all let Urban Meyer exist for a while. This ain't nothing compared to what Urban Meyer was doing in the sports space. Dumbass. But women's soccer. Let's talk about that. We know it's been a fight. Mm-hmm. Shout out to the women's soccer team. And them and the WNBA has been fighting hard, not just for their respective sports, but for all women to get the respect and the treatment that they deserve. I don't count this as a win, but let me just put it out there. U.S. women's soccer team and the USWNT reached a $24 million agreement on equal pay dispute. As we know, the women's soccer team made less than half of what the men's soccer team. They didn't have adequate funding, treatment, none of that. And the women bring home way more medals than the men do. They do. Like, when I say way more, I mean consistently. Way more. And we know when it comes to Olympics, let's be real, the women's U.S. soccer team is way bigger names than the men. I don't know no men's soccer player for the U.S. I don't know, but I can name at least 8 or 9 of the women. Yes. And their popularity is tremendous. So, like, if they were just to put up one of them and I noticed their face, and it doesn't have to be during a soccer game,
Probably name that person, be like, I know them, they play soccer.
It's bad too, yeah, because if you put one of those women's soccer player up next to a U.S. men's soccer player in the commercial,
who the hell's that?
I'd probably be like, oh, maybe that's her husband or her brother.
Right, I'm like, damn, that's Abby Wambach, but who's the dude?
Yeah, I would just, you know what I'm saying? So that tell you the significance of it. The reason why I say I don't think they won, right, is because from what the reports is saying, they didn't even get half of what they asked for in the lawsuit.
For them, though, it's a win in their eyes, and I understand it. It's because they got something. Yeah. They got a start. They got a foot in the door to start getting what they need.
Yeah.
And I feel that way for the WNBA too, though. They had a lot of wins last year, and this year so many things are going to start changing for them because of that.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing is when the WNBA league started even talking about opening up the opportunity for more teams, which they need to do, because so many girls are losing out on the opportunity to stay in the States and stay at home, because the only place that there's opportunity and space, and has nothing to do with skill, like they can be great, there's just no space here, is they have to go overseas. But then when you go overseas, you don't see your family doesn't get to see you play the way they do here. So they started talking about opening up more teams. I think eventually they want to work on making the season longer, but I think they're going to start with the team thing first. So it's like, I think for both of them, they've worked tremendously hard, and the women who put forth the effort, they're getting something out of it. It may not be exactly what they wanted or exactly what they asked for, but it's a step start
in the right direction.
It didn't not get approved. It didn't go backwards. It's a start. You got to start somewhere to keep going forward.
Yeah. I don't particularly like to talk about these type of topics, but I feel like it's necessary, right?
It's Women Empowerment Month next month.
Not just because of that, but like all the topics that I bring up that's a little bit away from sports, like not completely political, but kind of political.
Edging on it.
Is because, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a parent. We both parents. Yeah. And
we have boys, so it's like
you like to envision the life that your child live and the obstacles that they're gonna face.
Yeah.
And
us having boys in sports.
Sports is a metaphor for life. And we know how unfair life is, and sports reflects that, right? Like, we know in the NFL, we know some of the racist messages and terminology and slave owner mentality that goes into there. You know what I'm saying? Like, we see it all the time. We see nepotism, we see favoritism of a particular race and age. You know what I'm saying? Like, in the NFL tends to move like 2 steps forward, 10 steps back every time.
Right.
Like, when they highlighted how many women coaches have been getting active in the NFL, that was a step forward. You know what I'm saying? Like, the Black Lives Matter messaging and programs that was coming out, that was a step forward. And then you get all your Black coaches or minority coaches eliminated, except for 2. I believe it's, 3. It's Ron Rivera, it's Mike Tomlin, of course, and then it's the coach for the Jets. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like,
everybody know Mike Tomlin.
Yeah, but
Brian Flores, the reason he got the job is because he called Tomlin and was like, "Hey, I need advice. Like, I don't know what to do." And Tomlin was like, "Man, fuck this shit."
But
goes to the Rooneys, we giving him a job.
But in the NBA, we see it too. Like, ownership has become a problem. We all know that NBA players have the money to own a team.
Yeah.
LeBron is an official billionaire. You know what I'm saying? Like, if they want to own a team, but you know what I'm saying, it seems to always be an obstacle in a way. We always see these type of problems. So when women are getting treated a certain way, and we see this over time, like, the WNBA do so much for the communities, for everybody, and their product has been getting better and better over the years, right? Like, all around aspects, you got these highly intelligent, highly athletic women who are getting more athletic, who are getting, you know what I'm saying, who are just drawing more markets but they don't get treated the same way. Like we just came off the March Madness where the girl had to report basically the NCAA gave them like 5 dumbbells as a weight facility. Yeah, like you know what I'm saying? And we don't want to do that. We know how popular it is. I'm glad that the world is coming to put pressure, but I think we need to keep putting that message out here. Like, this is how our kids is getting treated in sports. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I worry that what if our kids want to be a black quarterback? How is that going to go by the time they get there? True. If they do become a coach, you know what I'm saying? And they have higher aspirations, are they going to go through what Hugh Jackson and all of them went through where they was getting paid to lose games? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want that for the kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want them to feel obligated to take $100K a game to lose and mess up their whole career. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want that for them. So I'm going to keep putting it out there. I know a lot of people don't like to talk about the back end of sports. We like to focus on it. But that's just going to keep the future in a bad situation. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to the women's soccer team.
I see it from all sides because it's like our kids of color. One of them doesn't necessarily look like it, but he is.
He's still going to get treated like it at the end of the day.
He's still going to get treated like it at the end of the day. And it's like, that's a big thing for them. But I also want both of them to also understand that women don't get the same options that they have. They have so many more benefits because they're boys.
Yeah.
I always think about, like, if we were to have another kid and it is a girl, she's not going to have the same opportunities as her brothers.
And that's not fair.
She's a girl.
I'm not trying to show favoritism or anything. I'm just always a proponent of the extreme in the right direction. Like, do what's right. You know what I'm saying? Like, when we had these GOAT conversations, I'm not shy about telling y'all who the GOAT of sports is. To me, it's the tie between Serena and Layla Ali. That's it. I don't want to hear no Michael Jordan or nothing. Until you can get pregnant and smoke somebody in a tennis match while being pregnant with ease, and you've been a monster in the pros since you was a teenager, I don't want to hear shit. Layla Ali walked in the box and beat everybody ass and walked out, and then walked in the cooking, beat everybody ass and walked out. Like,
I feel that way about WNBA players, though. A lot of them will leave for a season, have a baby, and come back the following season and be a complete
tip-top
beast.
shape.
DeWanna Bonner,
tip-top shape.
You see, now I don't talk about people's weight. DeWanna Bonner is extremely tall and slender, like lanky and slender. Had twins and came back the season after she had twins.
And they got a mom.
Like,
they got a mom through.
Like, they all parent, right?
And a lot of that is the logo for that right now.
Amaya is being raised by her mama and every single Las Vegas Aces player, coach, teammate.
Ain't best friend coming over this year?
She's coming to Phoenix, which is good for them because they'll be closer together. And Amaya gets to see her auntie Diamond, so she don't care.
We know that's gonna be.
But it's like you watch these, right? When you watch these women be parents and players, their kids are important to them. Like, y'all don't realize that behind the scenes, they are getting babysitters, they are getting family members. They're getting players who are injured to help them take care of their kids.
Yeah.
And those women become aunts to those children. And that's who those kids are being raised by. They're being raised by strong women. Yeah. We look at Allison Felix, who came back to the Olympics last year.
Yeah.
And did all these amazing things. And yes, now she is retired, but she did it to prove to her daughter, doesn't matter what happens. I had you and I still made a comeback. I still was able to achieve this. And then end my career when I wanted to, and nobody telling me, oh, you had a kid, your career's over.
Yeah. So, like I said, man, I know we like to keep it sports and lighthearted, but I feel like even if you don't follow it, you need to hear it because you need to know what's going on. You need to know who to support, when to support it. The right thing is always going to be the right thing. If you're an adult, that's what you need to support. You know what I'm saying? We look at these grown men and we put them on pedestal, but that's still somebody's child. You know what I'm saying? Like,
some of them as men babies.
When Kaepernick got blackballed, somebody's kid got done unfairly on a national level. You know what I'm saying? And I would never want my kid to go through that Kaepernick experience
at all.
If they do and they handle it half as good as he did, like, that's just to show they're a leader. You know what I'm saying? Like, that reflects great on their character, but I don't want them to have to take that type of L to prove that they're a leader.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Megan Rapinoe, like you said, Allison Felix, like they getting it done. Like they keeping this message out here, and
they're not gonna let you forget it.
They I feel like right now women got like a monopoly on mentors. Like it's so many women mentors out there. It's beautiful. It almost make me want to have my kids, my son, you know what I'm saying? Like I got 2 little boys where if they looking for leadership, I almost want them to favor the women's side of sports more than the men. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I mean by like a monopoly on leadership. Like when they start really digging, like when you get to the teenage age, that's when you really care about who you becoming. And now I got to tell them about Venus and Serena, and I got to tell them about Layla Ali. I got to tell them about Lisa Leslie. I got to tell them about Megan Rapinoe, Allison Felix. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then I got to get to the dude side and hope it's a couple out of there that I could point out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got Mike Tomlin, I got LeBron, I got Steph. You know what I'm saying? Like
the usuals.
I got a handful of names where I'm like, yo, do the right thing. And then it's a lot of names I got to stay away from.
You don't be like him. Don't
you
do
know
it.
What I'm saying? So shout out to y'all. But to get back to this sports, All-Star Weekend. Let's jump into All-Star Weekend. All-Star Weekend told me a lot, right? Let's start with the first day, which was the celebrity game, and
Jimmy Allen should have won.
It was something else that went on besides the All-Star.
The Rising Stars game.
Rising Stars, that's what I was thinking.
I liked the outline of the Rising Stars this year. I think it gave an opportunity to so many more players to get a chance to be seen.
Oh my God. I want to
because not that many people would have played a year or two ago. There would have been way less. So many more of them got an opportunity this year.
I want to applaud the NBA so much for the change in the outline. It was amazing. Like this was a great outline from a structure standpoint. All-Star Weekend did what it was supposed to do. Like it gave you an entire weekend of activities. The Rising Stars game told me pretty much
League players
how many it told me how many stars is coming out of these 2 new classes, like the rookies and sophomores.
Yeah.
It's so many future stars.
For me, it was that one game. The G League player was actually one of their better players.
Yeah.
And I was like, goes to show, like, because he played again on Sunday.
Yeah.
Was it Sunday? Yeah, it was Sunday.
It's a lot of G League legends in the NBA, so they starting to get that notoriety. I'm glad they had that game. The HBCU game was dope.
That was a good game.
Morgan State and Howard, it came down to the wire, but Howard pulled it out last minute. Morgan State was holding the lead pretty much the whole time. Mm-hmm. And we followed the HBCU circuit a little closer this year.
Because we're going to see them play.
Yeah. So when we saw Morgan State again, we had our favorite players. We knew exactly who we wanted to see. Howard, that was the first time we got a good look at them. But yeah,
there's still one person I ain't got to see play yet, but
that was great. I feel like that was a Chris Paul move. Leader of the Players Association for the NBA. So shout out to Chris Paul. I know that was you. I don't even have to wonder about it. Skills challenge was great, right? Well, no, let's backtrack. Celebrity game. You said Jimmy Allen should have won it.
Should have won the MVP. Tell me he shouldn't have, though. I mean, I know Peloton was doing it. Granted, we don't know his name. We just keep calling him Peloton. I feel really bad. I know he has a name, but I don't know his name.
Peloton was getting busy. Jimmy Allen was going crazy.
I know who Jimmy
Allen. But it was a few ways it could have went. Like, I don't want to mess up his name, but I was more of a fan of
the
people.
The Italian high jumper.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say his name either, but I think his first name is Gio.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure, so don't quote me on that.
I was a big fan of him. So when the Olympics come back around and the high jump come, I will be leaning outside the country. I hate to say it, but
so we're gonna whisper. Dunk contest on his own.
Oh, we gonna get into that because that was some. But yeah, Gio was definitely one of my favorites. Myles Garrett was one of my favorites.
He was just doing the most, but that's just his personality. Like that's why it didn't really bother me because I'm like, that's just a Myles.
I think
type of situation.
It's always like a close thing in my heart. I love to watch people who profession ain't playing basketball play basketball. Like I love seeing the rappers play with each other. I love seeing the football players play basketball because
football players is like kids. They just want to have fun.
A lot of them got a passion for it just as deep, if not deeper, as the NFL. Like they take their basketball game serious.
That's what they get to do in the off season. Keep them in shape.
I seen Devontae Adams recently after that dunk contest. I guess he put on the show. So I know Devontae is a real one. Above the rim, we know Odell, of course. When he was a rookie, he came out, did like a 360 between the legs. It's a few of y'all who just ball. I seen Patrick Mahomes come out. He is a nice point guard.
Yeah.
He's super nice. Lifetime Fitness. He the man in there. You know what I'm saying? Like
the memberships come in handy.
It'll make you forget that he leading the team to the NFL playoffs, and you'll be like, yo, he the man on the basketball circuit. So shout out to all of those. Like I said, Myles Garrett and Gio, those was my two favorites. Jimmy Allen was giving them trouble with the do-rag on, with the flap out.
And it's funny because so many people are like, does he ever take it off? I would be one to say I have watched that man on Dancing with the Stars and have just followed his career because I like his music.
Yeah.
No. He doesn't really take it off ever. I think I've maybe seen him without it like once or twice.
He true to the
I've
do-rag
never
game
seen him
real.
off with it off for
and as a person who used to hoop with a do-rag on, I know that thing get itchy in a matter of minutes. Like,
well, here's the
you
thing.
got a couple down the backs before you gotta let that go.
He usually has the do-rag on, but there's usually like a band. He's bald. There's usually a bandana underneath it to like make sure it doesn't get all gross and weird.
Man.
So like he's come up with a cheat code for himself.
I will say it was a couple disappointments in the celebrity game. I'm gonna say that.
I know who you're disappointed with.
Yeah, I'm gonna save that person for last. But Quavo, they dubbed Quavo like he was the point guard of the celebrity game.
That's because he plays really well. He didn't
come with it. Kareem Hunt, one of my favorite running backs that I go get in fantasy league.
He's big. Don't like he's skinny.
He wasn't really coming with it. Brittany Elena, you just Millie Rock girl right now until you get your hoop status up because that was bad.
And she played hoops in college, didn't she?
I
think that's what her background is. She did hoops in college.
Yeah.
And the reason she never went to the WNBA is because she's had knee surgeries a lot and that she just didn't want to put herself through it.
Yeah, but Brittany Elena wasn't coming with it. And last but not least, De'Erica was such a disappointment, bro.
Her alone.
Like the way she was blowing wide open under the rim layups was nuts to me. Like that was the enforcer. I'm like, they got her and Verjao to paint on lock. The only person you got to worry about is Myles Garrett. And I don't think Myles Garrett is going to really be throwing elbows. I'm going to be on her side
because she literally just had a game like a day or two before that for Team USA.
I don't want to hear it.
And has been practicing her ass off.
I don't want to hear it.
I'm going to be on her side.
Who was the other country singer?
Kane.
Kane. There we go. Kane was playing defense with De'Erica. Come on now.
But I mean, you got to bring it down to that level.
In the post. Like, if Kane is who you worried about in the post, yo, I would have benched him. Shout out to Perk and RJ. Oh my God, was they hilarious.
Yeah.
They was hilarious.
They were hot. Why you over here? What, ain't you supposed to be coaching?
Man, yo, RJ was getting out of line with the jokes, man.
They were
Perk.
everywhere.
I love Perk, but he was getting a little bit too hilarious. But yeah, so the skills challenge was beautiful. That was probably the best skills challenge.
I liked the layout of that one too.
They did that great with
you got a set of
Team
rookies.
Giannis.
You got a set of siblings. Now next year, I don't know if they're gonna do another set of siblings. It's really hard because some of them there's only 2.
Yeah.
The out of the compose you get lucky because there's 4 of them, so you just have to pick from the 4 of which 3 you want.
Just theme it out. That's all.
But I mean, actually, what they could do is do the Currys because there's 2, and then their brother-in-law because he's in the NBA.
No, they could do the holidays. I would love to see the holidays first.
Is there 3 of them?
Yeah, it's Drew.
I only know of 2.
It's Drew, Aaron, and Justin.
I always forget about Justin. I know the other 2.
Yeah. Aaron and Justin played with Indiana together at one point while Drew was everywhere. He was in New Orleans and then Milwaukee. But I like that theme a lot. It was the home team, right?
Right. You get 3 from the home team. You get 3 rookies, which is usually your top rookies that are up for probably rookie of the year.
Yeah.
And then they got the siblings. So I think you just need to find sibling sets. There's quite a few of them in the league. Yeah. You've got the Holidays, you've got the Currys. Granted, there's only 2 Currys, but they've got their brother-in-law, so luckily like there's another family member there.
A lot of the siblings, it is a lot of siblings. Quiet.
I think there's enough where you could probably make it happen that way.
I want to call them the Caleb twins, but I think Caleb is just one of their first names. They was in Charlotte together.
They're twins. Yeah. I know who you're talking about. It's what's their last name? I don't remember.
The Lopez twins is always a favorite everywhere.
They're a mascot favorite, so if they're expect like a Benny the Bull and everybody else to be on the court acting a fool.
Of course, it's the Morris brothers, Joker's favorite 2 people. It's a lot of siblings out there. We love to see it. Jeremy Grant, he got a brother that's been in it. I always forget that they brothers until they run into each other because they not built the same. Like it's a significant amount of distance and age. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like they don't. So it's a lot of those siblings out there. I think they should just go with a theme, not so much siblings, but like I would love to see a family edition where maybe you get Zaire and D Wade in there. You know what I'm saying? Or Bronny and LeBron and damn, I forgot the youngest one. He getting in the hooping right now, and he turned to it. He was chubby.
What the hell is his name?
Poor baby. It start with a B.
Bryce.
There we go. I would love to see that. Maybe a couples edition. You know what I'm saying? Where you just maybe have an athlete that's dating another athlete and they get out there and do some skill shit together.
I mean, there is a
because I would love to see Sue and her wife out there trying to get some skills together.
Well, Candace's wife, I don't know if they're married. I say her wife. I'm pretty sure they're married. Her wife is a foreign WNBA player.
And then the Quigley Vandersloot.
Oh my God, if they got to do one, do you know how excited I would be?
Yeah.
There would be no interrupting TV for me.
But
because Vandersloot and Quigley I'd be in front of the TV. Like, don't touch me. They're playing.
Yeah. But like that was fun. So for the people who didn't watch,
you suck.
They had the standard skills challenge things, right? But they broke it down in teams, and it was different points for different sections. So you had like the pass challenge, and that was its own event, basically.
If you won 100 points.
Yeah. And then you had my favorite was the recreate the moment. For everybody who played 2K, we know that's one of the things that's popular on 2K. You go back to specific moments in time and you try to recreate it. I think that started with Jordan's cover of 2K, where you had to recreate all the Jordans great moments.
That's how our 8-year-old plays 2K on his.
Yeah, that's why he know a lot of the OGs, because he had to recreate moments where Jordan dunked on Patrick Ewing and all of this, and Will Chamberlain and all of that. But the moments they had to recreate, they had to do, of course, the Kareem skyhook. I'm sorry, not Kareem skyhook. Magic stole Kareem skyhook, and that was the highlight for him in the playoffs.
That was the one that what's his name could not make to save his own
Scotty
life.
Barnes, man, we praying for him for the rest of the season, because Scotty was having
that was during the Rising Stars game. That wasn't during the
skills challenge. That was the skills challenge.
No, it wasn't.
I just told you that was to recreate the moment. That was part of the skills challenge.
It was during the Rising Stars
and then game. It was no, that's not the Rising Stars game. Is just that was the tournament. That was the tournament.
Between the tournament.
Because remember, it was Team Isaiah and all of that.
But in between the tournament, it was 2 people from each team. Because remember, if that person didn't make the shot, the other person had to. And we talked shit about one of the guys because he made one shot and it was the Dame shot, and that was it.
Oh yeah, it was.
That was the recreate at the moment one.
Yeah, it was. But it was the.
When we say he should have got a participation trophy because he only made one shot.
It was the Reggie Miller shot where he ended Jordan's life. Then it was the Ray Allen, shout out to Jesus Shuttlesworth, the corner 3 that basically got Miami that championship. And then it was my favorite shot, the Dame goodbye shot that he rocked Russ and Paul George to sleep with and told him to go home in the playoffs. So you know what I'm saying? Like, recreating those moments is great. It's like basketball education. The question I was excited to ask you is, do you have a new favorite young boy now after watching the Rising Stars game? Scotty let me down, man. That was my guy, but he was having an off time.
It looks like he sucked his thumb for too long. I know that's me talking shit, but seriously.
He was having an off.
I don't know. No, not really. The same ones that I liked before. I still like Bones.
Yeah, shout out to Bones.
I just like is it weird? I really just like his name more than anything.
Jay Sean was everywhere, man. Jay Sean was being Jay Sean.
And then Garland, still like him a lot.
Yeah.
So no, not necessarily. I think it's the same people that I liked before are still the same people I like now.
Everybody know who my favorite rookie is.
It's hard for me to follow babies. I mean, I was really happy that Kuminga got to go. Yeah. Even though it was in place of an injury. He's doing so good this year. So I was really happy he got to go. But yeah, I think I don't know. No.
I think nationwide, right? I think a few rookies got more popularity. Cade is quiet. So that rookie game made him stand out a lot more because he is like, even though he was the number 1 overall pick, he's extremely quiet. You know what I'm saying? So I believe his popularity went up because he got to showcase his talent in a fun-loving way. We already know Cade's my favorite. Yeah. Evan Mobley, he quiet too, but I know he's gonna be rookie of the year. I knew that going into it. I knew he was like a young Anthony Davis, right? Like he can do everything at a super large height.
He'll stay healthy.
But the rookie I think got the most attention was probably Giddey.
I love him so. He's so adorable. First of all, you're adorable as hell. Second of all, the fact that you're only like 19 or 20 is
he's a teenager.
I was about to say, isn't he like 19? He's barely gonna be 20 soon.
Yeah, he broke the league record for the youngest to get a triple-double.
I think he's absolutely adorable. But honestly, I think the biggest thing for him that I guess that he and Luka got this too, and some of the other international players, he's very self-aware of, I might be a teenager and this is an adult business, but I handle it as an adult. And I'm going to continue going forward as an adult. I might be younger, but I'm still an adult.
Yeah.
So it's like you watch him, you definitely see, like, I don't know if he talks that much. He doesn't look like he really talks to anybody.
Yeah, these classes is real bashful. And then you get a player like Anthony Edwards, who was hilarious.
He's a hot mess. But like Liz Cambage loves Giddey. Of course, they're both from Australia, so that's like a big deal for her.
Yeah.
But I honestly don't know if he talks to anybody. But still, it's like you want to watch him play because he's good. He makes great decisions. Has a great shot on the court, and just an all around, just somebody you want. Like, hey, watch him. That's what you want to be like.
That front office for OKC is amazing. I believe he's Sam Presti. LeBron said it. Sam Presti is amazing when it comes to finding talent. Like, you need to pay him to keep him for over a decade. Like, I don't know if you can stretch contracts that long, but I honestly think he's amazing. Like, since OKC has been in existence, right? He found Kevin Durant. You know what I'm saying? Even though Kevin Durant wasn't nothing to find, like he was a 7-footer coming out of college playing guard. Like that was obvious as fuck. But he went and got Kevin Durant. He got James Harden. He got Serge Ibaka. He got Reggie Jackson. Middle school, Shy. He went and got Shy. You know what I'm saying? He got Josh Giddey. Every time he finds a player, no matter what round it is, they turn into a significant talent in the NBA. You know what I'm saying? And you see it now with OKC. All of them is like 12 years old. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they all showing out. You know what I'm saying? So to have somebody who can go get you talent like that out of the draft pool is crazy. And I'm gonna be real, it's hard to see talent. So for those who got an eye for it, like a Sam Presti, like a LeBron James, like a Kevin Durant, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's a great eye for talent. Shout out to the greatest eye for talent, the logo himself, Jerry West. That's my guy. I love Jerry.
That's another fun thing that if you guys get a chance, I don't know if they won't do this next year, but they did like it was on Saturday.
We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about
that. Was fun.
But the young boys. Now, this is one of those things I think the NFL can learn from the NBA. Because the NFL doesn't do anything to showcase rookie and sophomore players.
Why?
Because we have favorite rookie and sophomores on individual teams.
I mean,
but it's hard to learn about it. Like,
I think that's different is in the NFL, not as many of them get a chance to start. Like, you're there, but most of them are on practice squad.
But that could get them some clock. That showcase could get them some clock.
Their showcase is preseason.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if they took that challenge we saw, right, where Jalen Ramsey got took out by the wall. If you would have made that strictly for like the top DBs who are rookie and sophomore, you know what I'm saying? Like, that would have gave a chance for legends who was announcing it to run down their stats and to be like, oh, okay, he's up and coming. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, it's a lot of positions that really don't get that much notoriety in the NFL. Yeah. And I feel like the NFL need the all-star, like the Pro Bowl weekend, to highlight a lot of the people. Like, they did a good job that one year where they had like the kicker tic-tac-toe. Yeah. That was dope. They should have kept that going. I don't know.
They want to switch up the games. I think that's why they want to see what other games are available. The airdrop catch, they haven't done that in a couple of years. That's like an OBJ juice type of thing that they do, but you want to give other people a chance to do it. Granted, OBJ won that damn challenge anyway. But still, they like to switch up the games. I think their plan to continue to go forward is to constantly move the games. The only one they won't take out is dodgeball. It's because everybody loves dodgeball. Yeah, I like the dodgeball game. That shit is entertaining to me.
I feel like for the old linemen, right, they need to have a protect the quarterback challenge where they have famous, like, notable size celebrities come in and try to get to the quarterback. Like, you can have The Rock, you can have Shaq, you can have all these giant people that everybody love and be like, oh, Shaq's getting through, or The Rock is getting through. And then you got everybody's favorite old lineman out there protecting. And you know what I'm saying? And you just watching these big bodies hit the ground. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that'll be entertaining. But yeah, like, all right, so 3-point God. First off, I would like to say I was right for the whole weekend. I was right for the whole weekend except for the worst event of the weekend. But 3-point God is Cat this year. I told you it's like a written rule. Like you gotta respect the big men when they step out to that 3-point line.
You weren't right. It's not who you picked for the 3-point contest.
I did.
You picked CJ.
I said I bet on CJ. But when we was talking, I said you always go with the big man. You respect the big man.
I went with
and
Luke.
You support the big man. I bet on CJ because of his odds.
I should have gone in there and taken the cat dog just to play for shits and giggles. I would have been excited. I would have been running around the house like a kid in a candy store.
But
because I don't play that. I don't like to play with my money.
It came down to who was it? Luke.
It was Luke.
Luke, Cat and Trey.
And Trey.
Ice Trey came out embarrassing.
He came out too fast. And the thing is like, and he said this before. He had said it. He said it in a couple interviews previously.
Yeah.
Where he's like, I'm not so much of a on-spot shooter. Like, it's not what I do. He's like, I have been working on it.
Yeah.
It's like, but this is not what I do. I think the one thing I give Cat, I'm gonna give him props for it, is he found Curry before the 3-point contest and was like, hey, and asked him questions like, what do you do? What makes this easier for you? And of course, Curry's not going to not tell you. Yeah. Curry's like, he's like, I don't grab the first ball. I make sure I grab the second one. He's like, the thing is, he's like, you do. He's like, you can't let it get to you when you don't feel a ball. He's like, know that it's there. Take a glance down, grab it and keep going.
Yeah.
He's like, but stay. He's like, if you don't have to move, stay in that spot. Stay in that one spot. Try not to move so that you keep a rhythm. So it's like he gave him pointers because let's be honest, if Steph had been there, there's a chance Steph probably the way Steph was shooting this weekend. Good fucking Lord.
Cat did it the right way, right? Like this is the specific weekend. This probably won't happen for another 25 years, but this was the specific weekend where you could go to every shooting guy and ask for help. He could have went to Steph. He could have turned around and left, went to Reggie. He could have turned around, left Reggie, went to Ray Allen and got advice from all of them. Could have shot around with them, to be honest. Like me, myself, if I'm a shooter, this weekend was made for me.
Yeah.
If I'm a shooter, I don't care about the events. Reggie, you stand over there. Steph, you stand in front of him. Ray, you get behind Reggie. We about to shoot this out. I'm going to get some respect on my name. You know what I'm saying? Like, this was the weekend to do it.
And it's funny because, like, when I think about it, I didn't watch Ray Allen or Reggie play.
Yeah.
But I'll watch their personalities, like how they are with Steph, and when I see any of them.
Yeah.
There are some of the most nonchalant, uncaring people. Like, Steph gets excited for other people to do stuff. And he's like you can get in his face, he's just like, oh, okay. And I see Reggie and I see Ray, and I feel like they're the exact same way of, okay.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
So I'm pretty sure if somebody were to say, let's shoot this out, they would have been like, okay.
Because no, it's a certain amount of arrogance that comes with being a shooting god. You got to get acknowledged by the shooting gods before you can get into that club. Like,
right.
If anybody, like a regular shooter, like if Luka would have walked out there and he would have been like, I want to shoot against y'all, Reggie would have laughed in his face first. Then Ray Allen's very quiet, but he get his off. He would have been chewing that gum like he always did, and he would have been like, you too young. And he would have walked away. Steph would have shimmied, and he would have been like, come on, man, you know better. You know what this is.
And Luka's a great shooter in his own right. That's the funny thing.
They know you're not there yet. Like right now, I think Seth could have got that respect. If Seth would have called him out, Reggie would have been like, well, let's see what you got. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got old knees, but I could probably still run you into the ground on a 3-point shootout.
Right.
Ray would have just got to work. He probably would have just started shooting off bullets. I'm pretty sure him and Steph shoot all the time. So, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But, you know what I'm saying? Other than that, you got Ice Trey and Joe Harris is injured, KD is injured, so nobody would have got that respect unless JJ Redick was there and JJ pulled off his shirt and was like, "Let me get some of that." Then they would have respected JJ.
I'm surprised he doesn't get more offers to come out of retirement and people trying to convince him, like, so are you done?
So what you doing?
You're like done, similar to what they did to Drew Brees. So you're done. Yeah. Like you don't want to.
Like I'm pretty sure they did that to Kyle Korver. I'm pretty sure they still do that to Kyle Korver. That's why he never officially announced that he was retired. Because they keep floating offers like, yo, Kyle, we know you don't want to play 84 games, but would you be ready allegedly come playoff season? You know what I'm saying? Because everybody forget that Kyle Korver has crept into that top 20 shooting of all time because he did it for a long time.
Do you want to be like Eric Weddle and come out of retirement for the playoffs, get a ring and go home?
They probably still do that to JR. JR is another shooting guy where they probably like, but right now everybody's quietly trying to show respect to JR in his golfing career because I heard he's amazing.
I heard that, and I heard he's doing really good as far as his college classes are concerned too. Like he's keeping like a 4.0.
But when the playoffs come and you need that shooter,
I think the playoff rosters have to be set within the next month. It has I saw a date, and if it's not set, then oh well, you get what you have.
I'm pretty sure LeBron called to check in. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
so you're like set on school? Are your classes available online?
I ain't go to college. When y'all get out? You know what I'm saying? Like,
is it an online class option? Like, maybe you could change.
How when you say they're easy, how easy are they?
I'll help you. You know what I'm saying? I sit next to you during practice and we'll get it done.
I'll talk to Vogel about you missing practices if you need to. You know what I'm saying?
You got to
education is important.
I can help you with your test.
And that's another ironic thing. The person who didn't go to college opened up the school. That's hilarious. I never even thought about that.
I think the great thing is even though he didn't go to college, he recognizes education is like a really big deal for kids.
Yeah, he already did some collusion type shit. And when Bronny was younger, and he was like, oh yeah, Bronny gonna play for Coach K. He loves Coach K to death.
Yeah.
And now that Coach K has that with a lot of the superstars, like Kobe was like, yo, if Coach K come to the NBA,
I'm leaving. Wherever he go.
You know what I'm saying?
Where you at?
If D Wade, Kobe, and LeBron say that, you can't let Coach K hit the NBA. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just can't do that.
Gotta hold him hostage.
You gotta be like, yo, the NBA at that point gotta be like, I need you to stay at Duke, no matter what these teams offer you, because you're gonna ruin the NBA. You know what I'm saying? Like, Steph is coming out of his contract. Dwight Howard is coming out of his contract. Like, everybody's going to your roster. But back to the All-Star weekend. Let's get to the trash portion, right? So sad. The dunk contest dunk contest is the worst dunk contest in NBA history.
That was the most disappointing thing
in
ever.
History.
Like, I could have thought about 8 other things I could have done.
They set the bar to my ankles. That's how low it was.
I could have had our 8 and 10-year-old go dunk, and I probably would have been way more proud.
Anybody could have dunked. Anybody could have dunked.
Like, there's female shit. Brittany Griner, Liz Cambage, all the big tall 7, Sylvia Fowles, Jonquel Jones. I would have rather watched them do a dunk contest.
I didn't like the pity Neek was giving out. He was giving them higher numbers.
He was trying not to end up like D Wade.
And I was like, Neek, you got to be more like Dr. J. Dr. J don't play that shit. Like, Dr. J was the first, you know what I'm saying? Like, one of the first flashy dunkers in the NBA history. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, everybody know Dr. J for 2 things. He had one of the greatest afros in history. And they had a commercial with him going in slow motion, doing a 360 dunk while picking out his afro. That's how cool and how beautiful that afro was.
That's great.
You know what I'm saying? Like Dr. J don't play that. And y'all gave him pure trash. I think for the 75th anniversary, a lot of people should have came out for the dunk contest. Like, if I got the human highlight reel Neek out there, and then I got Dr. J out there, and I got all of these like living legends above the rim. The only person y'all left out was VC, the greatest dunker of all time. If VC get behind the board and T-Mac, I'm cheating. I don't care what steroid I have to take. But I'm not. First off, the bar was set to the point where all you had to do was complete a dunk.
Yeah. That's all Obi Toppin. That's the only way Obi Toppin won.
Obi Toppin got scared because he ran out of dunks. And by the time he got frightened, he realized nobody completed the dunk.
Yeah.
So he
because if Juan Toscano Anderson had completed the last one that he did, Obi Toppin wouldn't have won. I don't think.
To be fair, the first dunk Obi Toppin did would have been the best dunk. And like that was amazing. That was Aaron Gordon like, that was Jay Rich like, that's Gerald Green like. That was amazing what he did. He just didn't complete it and he couldn't complete it.
Right.
But
just a hot mess. I just didn't like it.
Obi Toppin was like, he was like, I gotta put the ball in the basket now and I'm pretty much done. Like, I'm here now. Yeah. And I told you, when I saw the way it was going, if I was Adam Silver, I would have went down there and be like, ain't nobody like,
excuse me.
We all lost.
No. The dunks that were done during the All-Star game on Sunday were 10 times more entertaining.
Ja won. Ja was showing out in the game.
Jared Allen was coming from God knows where to fucking put that shit in.
Yo, Embiid went between the legs and threw that thing down with ease. So did Rudy Gobert.
Right.
These are people who don't need to jump.
Like, there was just so much more entertaining dunks that
like you got people who's well over 7 foot. Like, yo,
like maybe y'all
we could get a trick dunk off.
Steph liked to dunk just as much as the next person, even though he's not really a dunker. He would have done the dunk.
Y'all out the water.
He would have done it giggling too, like a kid.
The most cringeworthy part. So what's the most cringeworthy part?
Fucking Timbs. The fuck was the point of all that shit?
And that crip walk was not hitting. At all. It wasn't hitting that. I'll tell you the most.
First of all, it took you forever to put the fucking Timbs on. Why didn't you come out with them already on?
You got your daddy.
You got this whole presentation for your dad to give you a pair of shoes. Good for fucking you. That's great.
And your dad's arm is getting tired holding the ball out.
Right, which is part of the reason you couldn't complete the shit, because his arm's tired at that point. He's like, I've been standing here. Well, you put your shoes on. And then, no, Gary Payton II should have been there. I would have been way more excited for that. Way more.
The most cringeworthy part to me was my man's with the leather pants, with the front shirt. It was so cringy. He had to teach him how to throw an alley-oop. That's rule number 1.
First of all, if that's what you have to do, there are 18,000 basketball players surrounding this court.
There.
Ask them. I think at one point Obi Toppin told him, do you want one of us to come do it? Like, hello.
In street clothes. Like, they zoomed in the remember the section? It was like Taco and Amelia. Like, yo.
They all watching like, what the hell is happening?
Bro. Like, come on, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Steph's there. Steph is the king of throwing alley-oops to any of his teammates.
The Elite 75 is
right.
there.
Like, they're all, you better ask somebody.
You would have won if you did a regular dunk, but you had John Stockton come out and give you the
Jerry West is there.
If Jerry West would have gave you any type of assist and you completed the dunk, I'm giving you 11s, bro. If
you better go up to him and say, Mr. West, my friend sucks at throwing this shit. Can you please help me?
If you could have got any of the basketball guys on the court to assist, I would have gave you 11.
But instead, you kept your cringy ass, ugly leather pants friend.
Kareem, Bill, any of them. If they would have stepped foot on the court, if you would have got them to put on a uniform, you didn't even have to dunk at that point. I just want to see Jerry West look ready to go. And I would have been satisfied. Like, this was fire. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but yeah, like that was just like, what the fuck?
He was in leather pants. At one point, he threw it under the backboard and it ricocheted towards the ground. I was like, bro, this is so cringy that you can't get this off. This is disgusting. But yeah, that dunk contest should never happen again. Stephen A. Smith was on a record saying that they should highlight regular people who have outstanding dunk abilities because we know how they go hard. Like the greatest dunk I've ever seen came from one of the trampoline performers that come out at halftime.
Yeah.
He told him to move the trampoline, and I think he did like a fucking 920 or some shit that should never happen in life. That only happens on a skateboard by like Tony Hawk.
Yeah.
He did some shit like that, and everybody lost their mind. And I was like, that guy
can do.
They had a whole Dunkin' They had a whole Dunkin' show where Nate Robinson was a judge.
I loved that show.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you can call these people back. Shout out to Chris Stapleton. Shout out to Frat Al. He's all over YouTube. He was a globetrotter. He was everything.
That's just, I don't know. It was just so bad. Like you had NBA players going on Twitter, on Instagram, cringe. And they're like, Aaron Gordon, Zach LaVine, where the hell are y'all at? Like, this is ridiculous. Did you see the disappointment
on Shaq's face?
The way he was sitting back in his seat, the look on his face, he's like, the fuck is this shit?
The thing that should have made him and Chuck smile was like, that was the dunk contest that they knew they could have won. You know what I'm saying? Like in any type of shape, they should have knew they could have won.
It's like, I just think like, who could have won it? Who could have done better?
Anybody.
But then when they started dunking during the All-Star game, and I was like, well, here you go.
And I feel like that was the message that they were sending. Like
probably what. And I mean, people at that point were begging Ja. They're like, can you please do the dunk contest next year? Please. And he's like, I think part of it is he's not like a trick dunker. He's like, he's just a high flyer. Situation. Yeah. Like I just like to dunk.
And it's a lot of those. Like Zion's not a trick dunker, he's an in-game dunker.
But I mean, maybe you got a whole year, call Zach, call Aaron, they can help you become a trick dunker. Say,
the bar was set so low with this is like, bro,
you could come in and do a normal ass dunk and we'll be excited.
You just gotta dunk it at this point. Like if I was there, I would have called Aaron Gordon and be like, yo, I know you're not a contestant, but if you come out here and dunk right now, we would give you the trophy you deserve.
It's yours. You want me to backdate it? I can get you two of them and backdate one for last year.
We will give you the trophy for this year and a D-Wade apology. How's that sound?
Right. Written apology, signed, dated, sealed, stamped, anything that you want. We will frame it for you.
Now,
I don't know where you want us to go with it, but
since we here and we've been talking about these players, how'd you like the All-Star game, the actual game?
It was so good. So good.
I know why you loved it.
First of all, that was a shooting clinic that was being held to the world of, hey, Cleveland, fuck your booze. I'm going to shoot on your court real quick.
Me and you.
It was still just a good, like, I like the camaraderie. I always like to laugh at the antics, like, of who's guarding who's being petty, friends, all that good stuff. I like that aspect. It's always entertaining to me. I like it in the NFL too, because they play like kids.
Yeah.
It's literally like watching a bunch of 10 and 12-year-olds running around all over the place.
It was a lot. It was so much petty involved. Like, people don't understand that Steph went out there with a petty goal because he knew he was in Cleveland.
He was like, oh, y'all, when they booed him, he was like, thank you. Thank you.
That's when he decided he was going to be the MVP. Right there is when he decided. When they booed him on the intro, he was like, oh, we in Cleveland. I got to get the MVP.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was so
He's like, y'all booed me, but here I am. Let's go.
Now I'm y'all Cleveland MVP.
And then they started cheering for him. By the time he started shooting, they was like, fuck it, we here now.
It was a catch-22. Like, it was boo Steph, but then you rooting against Team LeBron and came from Akron.
Which you don't want to do.
You know what I'm saying? So, and LeBron never talked about how much he did that weekend because it was in Cleveland. Like, he did a lot for the city.
Mm-hmm.
So now you can't go against, you know what I'm saying, Team LeBron. Now you just in there like.
We just here.
Now we just got to let him run them up. You know what I'm saying? It's in our favor this time. So we had these conversations a lot, and I tell you, it's two collusion periods that make me happy, and that's All-Star Weekend.
What cracks me
and it's the Olympics.
And I told you this weekend, what cracks me up is in the NFL, there's no such thing as collusion. I can reach out to you as an NFL player to player, and be like, yo, you should come play with me. You should come here. There's no such thing as collusion in the NFL. They don't give a flying fuck. Talk to each other if you fucking want to. If your team can make it happen, captain. Do what you want to do. Most teams can't make it happen. That's why they don't fucking care. In the NBA, y'all get fined for talking to somebody. So much as saying, you should come play with me. Collusion. Yeah. Here's your $30,000 fine.
Yeah.
For saying you should come play with me. But then y'all set up this whole thing called All-Star Weekend, where you put them together anyway. You can't tell me ain't there niggas in there talk about you should come play with me. What are your plans when your contract's up in 2 years? You're getting older. Do you want to play together at some point? We should play together at some point. You can't tell me that's not a conversation. For crying out loud, this was all over social media all weekend when LeBron said, when Bronny's in the league, wherever he's at is where I'm going. I'm getting 1 year in and I'm retiring.
I like his collusion loophole that Bronny ain't in the league yet, so he can say all the reckless shit.
So let's just put it out there. Steve Kerr's like, I really like your son. We're going to go draft Bronny. We're going to have him come to the Warriors. So you're telling me that somehow, some way, the magician's magic is going to work where it's Steph, Clay, because you know they're not going to let the two of them go anytime soon or ever if they have the option. Most likely Draymond, because they don't want to break him up either. Bronny and LeBron. Like, that's just magically how that's going to... And LeBron's like, it's not even about the money. So he'll take...
I was about to say, the thing is, he will play for free.
And be a McBrokey pants.
It ain't... He a billionaire.
Right.
When you have a billionaire on the court,
like, he's just going to play.
There's nothing left to offer him. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So right now, he's looking for the love. Like, he made it very clear early in his career. He said, yo, I want to play with my best friends. You know who my best friends is? That's D-Wade, that's Carmelo Anthony, that's Chris Paul. I want to play with them. He figured out how to play with two of them.
Who didn't he play with?
He didn't play with Chris Paul. Chris Paul fought it off.
No, I don't want it.
And it's because I see why. They would probably alpha takeovers. Like, Chris Paul is the point guard at this point. He's the floor general.
Yeah.
And that's naturally who LeBron is as a player. You know what I'm saying? Like, when shit go wrong, they both gonna be like, give me the ball, and you can't, there's no way to correct that. You can't do that with two people. You know what I'm saying? Like, Chris Paul knows LeBron's talent, but he know what he's there for at the same time. So I can see why Chris Paul fought it off. Like, yeah, that sound good in theory, but it won't work.
We're friends.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't want to.
We're in our friendship real fit if we end up on the same team.
I'll hurt you. You'll hurt me.
And now his goal is to play with Bronny, and he's definitely gonna play against Zaire by that time. So now you playing against your nephew and you playing with your son.
Because Zaire is in the G League right now. So it's like, God knows when he'll get caught up. From what I've heard, we don't really watch G League. I'll kind of want to more next year. Their season's about to end soon.
Yeah.
But from what I've heard, he's gotten better since being in the G League.
That's good.
He's developed more than what he was in high school. Because a lot of people were like, oh, he's not his dad. Well, first of all, I don't expect you to be your dad. You're not your dad.
Nobody. Your dad is a top 2 shooting guard of all time.
That's like telling Cannon, Steph's son, if you don't come out shooting a ton of threes, you're not your dad. You're never going anywhere. I'm not my dad. I'm a different person.
Boy, you might not even be your uncle.
Right. Like, I don't want to be those people. I want to be me.
Because remember, Steph came out and said, yo, career-wise, Seth has a better 3-point shoot shooting percentage than me.
He always put his brother on.
You know what I'm saying?
I think that's one thing that makes me like him even more, because he's like,
I shoot the blood out of it, but he makes it more than me.
Right, but my brother's percentages are better than mine. Yeah. Like, y'all might give me a lot of props, but I really my go-to is him.
Yeah.
Even if he is younger than I am.
And I respect it. Even if that's not your, like, right, I give you the perfect example. GP2 ain't his daddy.
Yeah.
Like, his daddy is probably the greatest defender of all time.
His dad looks a lot bigger than him. GP2 is built fairly small.
His daddy was physical. He wasn't an athlete, and he could score. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, that's Gary Payton. He the glove. You're not getting no points, and I got at least 20 and 10 for you. GP2 is a pure athlete with respectable defense. You know what I'm saying?
Can jump out of a gym.
Yeah.
So much is let him.
And I think that's what make his daddy excited. Like, boy, you got skills that I never had.
And the thing is, I think the biggest thing that got highlighted this past weekend with All-Star Weekend is, and I think it's a great message to kids, our kids' age, kids in high school, kids in their first year, second year of college, is the G League is not an end-all be-all. The G League could easily be a starting point for you to make your way to the league. Because they highlighted a lot of the names that are currently in the league.
A lot.
I was in the G League. That's where I started.
A lot of the favorite
just because
players.
I started there doesn't mean that that's where my career ended and died. Like,
shout out to Taco. He balling right now in the G League.
I hope he gets an opportunity.
I love Taco's skill set. He got feet like a ballerina to be the biggest person in the NBA right now.
For real.
This might be cliche to say, but he's the definition of stretching the floor. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody can stretch the floor better than Taco right now, unless you Bol Bol. Bol Bol is another situation where he is, oh my God, I think the only person at that size, well, close to that size,
would be Taco,
that got better feet than him is KD.
Yeah.
KD got feet like he's 6'1", and that's never gonna happen again. You know what I'm saying? Like, the way KD handles the rock and can get back on defense and how athletic he is, you're never gonna get nothing out of nobody that big, probably ever again.
Porzingis moves pretty well, also being as tall as he is.
But Bol is pretty much close, and Taco got beautiful footwork. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I like to see it. I like to see it.
But yeah, so I hope a lot of these, like, I really hope that was like a really big message that sunk in for a lot of people. Because I mean, we look at our kids have two different personalities. We've got one that very well would maybe take the college route and then, you know, get drafted if he wanted to play basketball.
Yeah.
But we also have the one where he's antsy as hell and could easily be somebody that would be a product from the G League.
Yeah.
And honestly, given how we watch him practice now, granted, yes, he's 8. Our kids are young. We still talk about their future all the time. He would probably be somebody who would benefit from going to the G League. One, to help him keep his maturity level, because he has a tendency to edge into childishness.
Yeah.
And I don't see that going away as he gets older. I see it getting worse.
He would definitely be the LaMelo Ball of the NBA.
But
hold on. Before you keep going, I almost lost this, and you just reminded me. So the collusion I saw. Oh my God. Now it's not so I feel like the older vet players, after so many All-Star games and U.S. Olympic games with people, right? You kind of see who the vets want to play with. Like, it's no debate. LeBron dreams. He wake up and daydreams about it. He goes to sleep dreaming about it. He wants to play with Steph and Giannis. He will sell any teammate, friend, whoever, to play with Steph and Giannis.
Call Steve Curry.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's very clear. In the Olympics, you can see very well. He wants to play with Jimmy Butler. He wants to play with Kawhi Leonard, and he wants to play with Kevin Durant.
Everybody loves
you. Know
Jimmy.
What I'm saying? Like, He already got AD. We saw that in the Olympics. Like I see LeBron 200% now. He wants, who's your pick? I'm going to get Steph and I'm going to get Giannis. I'm going to get Giannis first, and then I'm going to get Steph.
The people that have had to pick against him have yet to decipher this and break up that little bromance triangle.
But now it's the young players I'm paying attention to. LaMelo loves Ja.
Yeah.
That's a problem. That is a fucking problem. Because what we see out of LaMelo is the greatest talent in the world in a childish body. Once he gets mature and he be like, yo, you know what? I can play off ball. And he decides, if y'all go get me Ja, I'll scoot over.
See, and
that's a problem. That's
you know who else loves Ja?
Who?
Trey. Trey loves Ja. But Trey also loves Luka. So imagine those three trying to find a way. And Mark Cuban is not going to let Luka go. So they automatically going to be in Dallas if they're going anywhere.
I feel like at a certain age, right? Like I said, after so many All-Star games and so many Olympics, you're going to be like, I'm just going to go play with my man.
But then mind you, Luka and the Joker have like the greatest friendship ever. So like, can you imagine like Luka going to...
This has been a historical thing. Like Kobe talked about it. R.I.P. Kobe. Kobe was like, you know what? Every All-Star game, you know who I was on teams with? Tim Duncan, Dirk. He wanted to play with Tim Duncan and Dirk so bad, but he was like, he told the Lakers, he was like, I want to do it, but they lifers. Mm-hmm. They not leaving their organization. Dirk is never leaving Dallas. Timmy ain't leaving San Antonio. Let alone Greg Popovich. He's not leaving Pop. You know what I'm saying?
Seeing for Luka, it's Mark Cuban. He's not leaving Mark Cuban. And so, Mark Cuban probably wouldn't let him leave. He said he would divorce his wife before he let Luka leave.
And this is where the collusion starts. So somebody like Kobe is like, yo, I want to play with Timmy and Dirk so bad. You know how bad the NBA could have got? LeBron was like that. So if LeBron get a chance, like you said, if Bronny end up on Golden State,
he gonna go.
He gonna
go running.
If you thought he was retiring, he's saying psych.
Just kidding.
Yo, one more year? No, I'm extending this, boy. I'm in the Bay now.
That was on One More Time. It's time to sell.
And what people keep not understanding is LeBron is a very respectable three-point shooter. You know what I'm saying?
The thing is Golden State is like the place where if you want to try to hone your three-point skill and maybe get a little bit better, you go to Golden State in hope.
You're going to be
It doesn't work for everybody, but it works for a good portion.
No, I think it worked for everybody. I don't think it just works as fast as you would like it to. Because I feel
what's his name was?
Because who was it? It was Mo Spates and Matt Barnes. Shout out to Matt Barnes, one of my favorite people who came out of the NBA. Matt Barnes came in, he started talking to them, and who else? He said that one of the years, he said Golden State called him back when KD went down. And he said he went to go watch him work out. He said the shooting is no way around it. He said he walked in for about a week. Steph had his half of the court. A million shots going up. A million shots going up.
4 hoops, and from what I know, Steph gets his own and Clay gets his own. They split them up and let them shoot on.
That's what he said, that Steph was doing his drills. He said KD was on the other side doing a million one-legged three-pointers. So, and then he said the third court was Clay firing off the fastest threes he ever seen in his life. And then he said the only options for the rest of the players, yo, you could go rebound for Steph, and Steph might let you get in on some shots when he get tired. Or you could go rebound for KD or Clay, and maybe they'll let you in. Or you was just watching, trying to hone your shit. You know what I'm saying? And you start following their drills to get your shot right. And he was like, "It's no way you was gonna leave a worse 3-point shooter if you played for."
I mean, look. Granted, they threw shade. They threw shade at it, but it was Trey. It's Trey and Embiid and Wiggins. They was all together. And Trey was like, well, Golden State's apparently where you go. He was like, you go from like a 20% shooter to a 40% shooter.
Which is nuts.
He's like, is that what I need?
Which is nuts. You know what I'm saying? Like, and
even Embiid joked around. He's like, maybe I need to go be a splash brother for a little bit and come back.
A little more collusion that's very out in the open. Giannis wants to play with Embiid. They was on opposite teams, but they love each other.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's very apparent. Like I said, that young boy crew, LaMelo loves Trey. LaMelo was the focal point of the young boy crew that I saw, where I was like, oh, so they colluding early. Like when we saw Trey as a rookie, we saw him and Luka a mile away, and we was like, they got to break that up.
Don't let them talk.
And then another young boy moment was where Jason Tatum, people was itching to play with Jason Tatum, and I was like, that's a problem.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's very much a problem because they starting to treat him like a vet. You know what I'm saying? And then Jimmy Butler. I saw Jimmy with Trae Young, and I saw Jimmy with Rudy Gobert.
And everybody loves Jimmy. Jimmy's hilarious.
And I saw Jimmy with Rudy. You know what I'm saying? Rudy was getting around, and we know that he might be out of there after this season.
Yeah, and he might be silent, but he does talk to people.
And if you...
And Rudy, Jimmy's all about learning a new language.
Rudy, so you know what I'm saying? So it's just, when you see the collusion, it's always like, hey, if that's your player, you like, yo, get him away from him. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't need that.
So how would you feel if, because we know Mark Cuban's not letting Luka go anywhere.
Shout out to Cade. Cade was colluding heavy, and I appreciate it.
He's on lockdown.
Cade was, him and Evan was best friends. Yeah. I like that move. You know what I'm saying? He was best friends.
The thing that sucks for them is they got to wait like 4 years, 5 years before anything can happen.
He was best friends with Giddey. I like that move. You know what I'm saying? So if Giddey and Evan become Pistons in the future, I'm so happy. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I like what Kate was doing.
How would you feel if Luka were to try to get like the Joker specifically, because they are really good friends and they have played together overseas?
I'm 200% sure Mark Cuban has kicked it with the Joker. You know what I'm saying? Like on some collusion, but ain't been caught by nobody type shit. Like, I'm sure Mark Cuban was like, hey, you want to go to your house? I have a private plane that can take us and nobody will see us.
Luka's in his contract now for 5 years. He's not going anywhere. And we know damn well by the time we get to year 4, Mark Cuban is going to find a way where that contract gets extended even further, because he is going to make him Dirk. And Dirk even said that. He's like, he basically is going to be the new me. Like, they're going to build around him. And Dirk he's not a coaching staff, but he is part of their staff as far as recruitment goes and player development. Yeah. And Luka lived with Dirk for a while when he first got to Dallas. He, of course, has his own place now.
Yeah.
I could see Luka going to Mark Cuban and saying, yo, you want me to stay? I want the Joker.
Bring one of my friends here. I don't even think he'd say Joker specifically. I think he'd say bring one of my friends.
Like, he's not going to let Bobby go. First of all, everybody loves Bobby. Luka loves Bobby. That is Luka's best friend. He's not letting Bobby go nowhere.
I've been a Mavericks fan my whole life. As long as I've been a Pistons fan, I've been a Mavericks fan. And I know how Mark Cuban works. He wants a premier point guard and he wants a premier big man. When I say that, Sean Bradley, premier big man. You don't know Sean Bradley based on the name, but you know Sean Bradley. You know how you know Sean Bradley? He's the blue monster in Space Jam. He's the tallest one.
Oh,
that's Sean Bradley.
Didn't know that.
Yeah.
I know Space Jam. This is one of my favorite movies.
Yeah. But Sean Bradley is one of the biggest people that played in the NBA. He was like 7'6". You know what I'm saying? Because he made Patrick Ewing look like a child in Space Jam when he stood behind him in that the little nurse's gown and had your ass out. That's like the most prolific picture of the All-Stars in the movie Space Jam. And he's huge. He was the premier big man. Then you get Dirk, you know what I'm saying? And you always had a premier point guard. It was, I don't know who came first, but it was either Steve Nash or Jason Kidd that entire time.
Yeah.
My two favorite point guards. You always had one of the, that's ironic because I feel like it felt like they was only bouncing between Dallas and Phoenix because both of them played for Phoenix, both of them played for Dallas, and they basically was just getting sent back and forth.
Right.
It was a short period where Jason Kidd ended up with the Nets. Shout out to RJ because that's what made RJ an all-star. But that's Mark Cuban's style. Premier point guard, premier big man. He tried to do the Porzingis, Luka. That was the setup. It didn't work. Rudy Gobert is on the market. Rudy Gobert is very much a Dallas big man. You know what I'm saying? Anthony Davis, very much a Dallas big man. It's a list of big men. Fucking Embiid is like the star, dreamy-eyed version of what Mark Cuban wants. The Joker, starry-eyed, dreamy-eyed. Like, I'm sure Mark Cuban, as soon as he knew that they was friends, his eyes lit up.
So you're friends.
So both of the players I dreamed of is best friends. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, Rudy Gobert, I guess the plus for him is, I think a lot for Luka is too, like, he speaks English, of course. We hear him talk all the time.
And hilarious in English.
He's hilarious in English because he fucks up so much. him and the Joker, they don't care though. I think a big thing for him too is he likes to be able to speak a different language and be able to still get like his point across.
Yeah.
He's got that with Bobby, with Maxi Kleba, because Maxi Kleba, of course, isn't from the US either.
Yeah.
And then you've got people like, he can talk to the Joker. He can talk to Rudy.
Yeah.
And not feel completely uncomfortable. Not that I think he feels uncomfortable.
I know another player that Mark Cuban wants. He don't even got to say it, but it's like a wing player that's very much Dallas's style.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy Butler. And Jimmy was colluding with Luka too. I've seen them quietly
I think
having
Jimmy
fun.
would be okay with that.
I seen him and Luka having fun a lot in that All-Star game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's just funny, man. Like, so the vets, I think everybody go through this. The vets that, well, just me, I don't know if everybody go through it, but the vets you probably hated your whole life, once they get close to retirement age, I start to not hate them no more. And I just respect like they legacy. Like,
yeah,
we've been like, I feel like we've been frenemies for so long, the enemy part has fell off. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how I felt about Kobe. Like, I hated Kobe for so long. Like, it was enjoyable to hate Kobe.
Yeah.
And then once he got older, I was like, man, it's just Kobe, man. Like, he been great for so long. Like, I don't even care no more what he do. Like, if he win the championship, good for him. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the point I'm getting to with people with like LeBron, kind of KD. KD personality wasn't like the greatest for a long time. Everybody loved his game. But now it's just like, yo, you getting older too. Steph, you getting older too. Like, it's a lot of older players where no matter how you feel about them, like, they've been around for you to feel that way about them for so long that now you just wish them the best on their way out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I feel that way about NFL players too. Revis Island was like the first person I felt like that about when I started watching football. I was like, Revis been around for so long. The fact that you still playing corner and trying to chase down these fast motherfuckers is ridiculous to me. You know what I'm
saying?
saying?
Never slowed down in his old age, though.
Like even now, like Frank Gore and Adrian Peterson and all these people like lingering around getting these small contracts. I'm like, bro, I just wish y'all the best. You know what I'm saying? Like Frank, your son is in the league. He plays for the Chiefs and he doing a good job. Like that's crazy to me.
It's a lot different in the NFL playing with your kid as opposed to the NBA. The NBA, it's a little bit more possible to play with your kid. NFL, if you make it that long to play with your child, that's amazing.
That's fucking amazing.
I have a lot of questions.
That's why I want Frank Gore to get one more contract, just for that reason, so he could say he was in there. The only person I know who played with their kid was Ken Griffey and Ken Griffey Jr.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like baseball, I don't see that as an issue.
No, because age doesn't really play a factor for them as much.
It does and it doesn't.
Yeah, I say they don't have as much wear and tear.
Once your arm is gone, like it's over. But it's a lot of ways to keep an arm healthy. You know what I'm saying?
Supplements.
But overall, so I wanted to talk about the best part, which is the Diamond Anniversary, the 75. I wanted to ask you, as somebody who hasn't been following basketball so long, how did you feel learning about some of the older players that you probably wasn't even alive to watch play? Like neither one of us. I thought it was
cool. Some of them are hilarious.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I would have liked you. Like Jerry West, I think he's so fucking funny.
I love Jerry.
But then again, I like crotchety old men. Crotchety old men are just my type of people.
I love Jerry.
I have one.
I told you that little old man crew, I think it's like the coolest group.
Yeah, it's like I would have hung out with you guys.
Like like to see them. So the way I learned about the players that I wasn't old enough to see, I actually watched them interact. Like we watched today, and I went back and I watched like they highlight reels. Then I might have watched one or two games, and I was like, oh, so this is what it was. Like I can tell you right now, Neek, I didn't get to see Neek play, but I got to saw his dunk contest, and I was like, oh, he's thorough. And then after that, I watched his highlights, and I was like, oh, he played with Doc Rivers. He played with Spud Webb, the original small person at the dunk contest.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I was like, Neek is the real deal. Then I got a chance to see a little bit of Clyde, because Clyde was around in the late 90s, early 2000s. And then he was done. I got to see the Dream. I never got to see Kareem, but Kareem has been like Shaq on steroids.
Yeah.
Like our kids know who Shaq is. They never seen him play, but Shaq has always been around. When Kareem was younger, I saw him with Muhammad Ali. You know what I'm saying? It was him, Jim Brown. I didn't know who Jim Brown was because I didn't watch football. I just knew Jim Brown was a legend in the black community. He was doing protests. I saw him fight Bruce Lee. That was like the greatest thing ever to me. I was like, yo, Kareem is fighting Bruce Lee right now. You know what I'm saying? Like Kareem did everything you could do to make people love him outside of basketball. And then I watched him and I was like, oh, he invented the sky hook. The greatest move that nobody can defend till this day.
Right.
He created that. Oh, okay. And then that's when I started watching like his highlight reels, and that was the Showtime Lakers with Magic Johnson. And then I was like, oh, he didn't even start there. Oh, him and Lou Alcindor is the same person. He changed his name. Oh, okay. Like that's when I started doing my history. Same thing with the logo. The logo was before Kareem. You know what I'm saying? So when I saw the logo, I was like, what's so special about the logo that can't nobody replace it?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I just like his personality. He was funny.
And that's who he always is. That old man crew has been great.
Like if you gave me 5 minutes to hang out with them, I'd probably have a fucking blast. Just leave me here. Don't make me move. Are we gonna talk about basketball? Probably not, because I don't talk basketball very well.
So do you got like a new favorite legend?
Jerry West.
Yeah, Jerry's great.
I would be best friends with him on purpose.
It's a new hated legend, apparently, according to Candace Parker and Sue Bird.
Who is it now? Yeah.
Oh my God.
What the hell was his name?
Jerry had to save him in that draft.
But even Jerry was like, they was like, well, did you like doing
the shoot arounds?
Shoot arounds. He was like, hell no.
Hell no. He said you was either gonna give me shoot around or you was gonna give me to play in the game. You gotta pick one.
I'm not doing both.
Talk to him, Jerry.
I was like,
fucking talk to him.
What the fuck was his name? Something with an S.
It was something like
I want to say Staubach, but that's a fucking NFL player that played for Dallas.
It was something Barnes.
Yeah, but I don't know. It was hilarious because the girls were so upset. Sue Bird and Candace Parker were like, no.
I saw Candace falling in love with Jerry while they was doing this draft. Because he wasn't even on her team for the draft. And she kept yelling over like, Mr. West. You know what I'm saying? Oh, shout out to Neek for going to get
himself first. First, not second, not third. He drafted himself.
Neek was quietly a highlight.
He said, I'm gonna give me.
Bill Walton was too. I like the old man shade. He was like, yo, I never lost to Neek back in the day. I'm not losing.
I don't plan on doing it now.
And Neek was like, you a damn lie. Like I like that. I love the 70s.
And it started laughing. The shade that was thrown this weekend was amazing. And the shade thrown from old people for some reason is even funnier than shade thrown from somebody our age.
Because they so great and they were so old. Like you talking to me.
It's like listening to my nana throw shade, and my nana can throw her fucking shade.
The thing is you watched a lot of these men or heard about them putting up ridiculous numbers before the 3-point line was invented. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how old they go back. In our mind, if the 3-point line was, you was playing with the peach basket. Like, you was there when the game was invented. For you to put up the numbers you did, it's crazy. And to hear them talk about the game now, like, I heard Jerry West talk about Cheryl Miller, Reggie's sister. I heard him talk about Steph Curry. I heard him talk about Shaq, Kobe. I heard him talk about Jordan. They are hilarious.
Jordan cracked me up this weekend because everybody was like, oh, he's at the Daytona 500. He was there.
I caught him with a couple thirsty moments too.
And then he was in the back with, it was the group of them as they were getting ready to do the whole 75 during halftime. And he saw Magic and he was like, Magic, lace him up. Let's go one-on-one. I still got you.
Him and Magic is best friends.
They giggling their head off.
Him and Magic is best friends the way Ocho lines up in front of Prime every time they see each other.
I swear to God, that shit has never not changed.
That's
not gonna change.
That's the equivalent of Magic and Jordan.
It would.
I love the old vets.
The crazy thing is people give like I get Jordan being like, I guess like the hated player or whatever, but he loves Luka. Loves the fuck out of Luka as just one of his athletes that's under the Jordan brand. It has nothing to do with the fact that he doesn't even play for Charlotte. But then he saw Cat. It told Cat, he's like, I saw what you did to my team. Fuck you. He didn't know who the hell Cat was, but recognized him immediately as doing that shit. He's like, oh, you disrespectful.
And the funny thing about Jordan is all of his favorite players is signed to his brand and they don't play.
None of them play for him.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of girls though too. Yeah. Recently, a lot of his players are females.
Chris Paul loves to death. Melo loves to death. Luka, of course,
designed a whole shoe around Luka.
Yeah, like,
and that's not even one of your I don't think any of the players on the team he owns are Jordan brand players.
No.
I don't think they are. I think they're all with other people.
I think he tried to stay away from all of his branded players because of how much of the controversy. How much of that can get wrapped up in controversy. I think he tried to stay away.
Like, I want you to be one of my athletes for my brand, but having you on my team could pose an even more of a bigger issue. Because if you don't do what I expect of you as a team player, I don't want you to think that has to do with your contract with my brand. You can be my brand ambassador, but you can't be my player.
The funny thing is LeBron is taking the complete opposite.
He will sign anybody.
Route. Like, he will get you the LeBron deal with the shoes. He will shine you to his sports management company, and then he will bring you over.
And his sports management company just got
Clutch
3 WNBA players.
Yeah,
3 or 4. I know for sure they got Aja and Chelsea, and I think it's Nafisha Collier who the other person was.
Yeah,
it may not be.
Clutch is beautiful like that, but yeah, like so. I love that diamond anniversary, even though I think they got it wrong. C-Web was a very huge miss.
I mean, but look
T-Mac, at Vince Carter.
Little drafting that they did. Jerry West was like making a list of people he thought should be on there.
Yeah.
And
that was one thing I did love. I love listening to Jerry talk basketball.
He was very like, and it wasn't biased. It was just thought of who he thinks like this person should be on there. Because I think on his team he had Clay as his wild card, and he's like, I don't understand why he wasn't on the list.
Yeah,
he's like, he very easily could be on the list.
And he wanted Draymond so bad.
He wanted Draymond, so they was like, but we only allowed 4 wild cards. He's like, so he's supposed to be on the list.
Yo.
So, I mean, I feel like if you have a player like that that's backing your name that much, you should, that honor alone is maybe even better than the top 75 list.
Yeah.
Like, I don't fuck the 75 list. That nigga said my name and said I should be.
Yeah, when you get
I should be on that
when
shit.
You get when you get all the greatest players in one room, the ones that's alive, that is, and they all like start telling stories.
Yeah.
And you realize who they love that's playing now, I feel like that might be one of the highest honors ever. Like, right. You know what I'm saying? Like,
if you so much as mention my name, and
if
like
my cool man group ever mention my name, like if I walk by a bench and Kareem and Bill and Jerry West and Iceman and Tiny is sitting on the side, and they be like, "Oh, we all love Corey." I'm be like, "Yo, fuck your MVP, bro."
They said they like me.
Did you hear who just lined up and said they fuck with me heavy? Fuck that MVP, bro. You
can take your MVP and shove it.
Word. Like, it's just like that old man crew is so crazy.
And it's funny because like the way you said, like when you say that, like I think about what Steph said when he was like, when Reggie and Ray were like giving him praise and like telling him it doesn't matter if you break it, like you're still an amazing shooter. He's like, I don't need anything else. Like, this honor is great and all, but they just told me I'm great. That's all I needed to hear.
Because those two were the guys that we was like, nobody would ever be better than them. Just like we look at Steph now. Like,
it's gonna be hard
in our mind, we like nobody is ever gonna be better than Steph at shooting the 3-ball.
Right. And I mean, we know that
cases like even if you can shoot the 3-ball well, we've seen in-game playoff, we've seen him spin off one foot. We've seen him do so many amazing things, like a career of just amazing shots that we like, bro, it's impossible, bro.
And I think one thing people don't realize is, he took that top honor, but he's still playing. He still has at least, I'm going to say 5 to 7 years of playing, which is just 5 to 7 years of racking up more numbers. Where he got to, nobody thought anybody could get there again. He's going to set that bar where nobody's going to, I think it's going to take 10, 15 years for somebody to get to where he's at.
I don't know.
But the 3-ball is becoming more of a thing. Like he changed. When they say he changed the game of basketball to where the 3-ball has become a necessity, I can see it. I don't know basketball that well, but when I watch the game, like you do need somebody who can shoot a 3. You do need somebody who could shoot from anywhere on the court at any given time, because that can be your game changer.
I don't know.
I don't think you need to live and die by it.
I was about to say, I don't know how prevalent.
I don't think you need to get warrior syndrome. The Warriors get lucky because they've got.
I was about to say, I don't know how long the 3-ball is going to stay popular, but I see the 3-point guys getting taller is what I can say. Because you got the Joker, you got Cat who just went crazy.
And we know the Joker can shoot from.
Everybody sees it a mile away. KD is going to go down as the greatest scorer ever if he not already there. Like, a lot of people be like, yo, Jordan is the greatest scorer. He better than Jordan at scoring. He's 7 feet tall. Even if you don't watch basketball, you know somebody who's 7 feet tall has more ways to score than somebody who's 6'6".
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and he's very efficient at it. So we know like height is gonna be a big thing when it comes to the shooters of the future.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like Larry was like the first real notable big man shooter who started it off. You know what I'm saying? Outside of Big Manute Bo. You know what I'm saying? But Manute wasn't pulling up every game. Like he was getting like maybe 3 a game. You know what I'm saying? At a time where big men should never take a 3-pointer. It was an anomaly that he was getting 3 a game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then it got to Larry, and then it got to Dirk. You know what I'm saying? Like, so the evolution is there. I think the small guards, I don't know if it's going to be too many more small guards that's just going to be lighting it up. Because it seemed like the league is just getting bigger and bigger. Like,
well, and I don't think kids are getting any smaller. For crying out loud, we were at Easton's game and those kids walked in and we're like, damn, what grade is
like
this?
Think about when we saw KD's team. Think about how big we saw them lined up in front of that podium. Like,
yeah,
we was like, yo, LaMelo's their point guard and he's 6'9". You know what I'm saying?
I think kids in general is just getting taller. I don't know where the hell it's coming from.
We was like, it's so much size on that team. And then you got people like Cade Cunningham. Cade is about 6'8". You know what I'm saying? That's our point guard. Like, they not getting small. Mm-hmm. Giddey is a guard. Giddey is huge.
Giddey's massive.
You know what I'm saying?
His position, he's fairly big. Tall-wise, not.
And remember on KD's team, who started off at point guard when that game started?
Yeah.
It was Embiid. Embiid hit a strong crossover, went straight to the rim, and went between the legs and won the dunk contest as soon as the game started. And I was like, oh, that's your point. Okay. All right.
That's what we're doing today.
All right. And then you know what they did? They subbed in Cat. Cat was on the wing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
and then he just won the 3-point contest. You gotta.
The Joker pushed the ball up for a minute. I was like, all right, LeBron on the wing. Apparently, Steph is a big man now. Okay. I see what we're doing.
Steph be so excited to stand in the paint, too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Knowing damn well he's tall, but he ain't that goddamn tall.
Because I don't know if everybody was paying attention outside of Steph's shooting clinic. But the two people who was playing point was the Joker and Giannis.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
hey, that shooting clinic was one to be marveled.
That's for the record books.
Good Lord,
that was the record books.
Shoot his ass off.
And you know who he intimidated with that? And it showed their age. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to see it. It was Ja.
I mean, I'd be scared.
Because Ja was doing the interview when Steph was doing that. And they was like, do you see what Steph is doing? And he was like, and I was like, oh, y'all in that conference, ain't y'all?
You got to re-see him.
And I think
everybody was like, oh, he's in a shooting slump. He's in a shooting slump. If there was ever a time to break the shooting slump, it was then. And he kind of broke it.
It's a little different because we know it ain't no real defense played in the All-Star. So when he knew, that's why he told him, he was like, I'm going. He was like, that's why he was like, yo, what's the All-Star record? I'm about to shatter that motherfucker.
I'm about to break it.
Ain't nobody about to play defense.
2 points off.
Yeah.
He needed a 3, but.
And then when he started going crazy, they started triple teaming. Like, we going to have to play defense.
We will actually have to play defense. This nigga got issues.
Yeah,
he was shooting over niggas, though.
I can tell now, Ja realized after being in that playoffs last year, that play-in.
They're not going to make it easy.
And when he saw Steph, he was like, this is what I got to look forward to. Like, it's a chance.
Because, that was like playful Steph, but a lot of that is Steph, like, we got to cram this down your throat because we don't want to be playing no more.
Like it's a problem for a minute. And the thing about Ja is, he hasn't been in the league to see Clay. And I keep telling people, I'm like, yo, Clay is a better overall shooter than Steph. So if you scared of Steph, when you get him and Clay, it's gonna get back to that point where
it don't matter if you think Steph's having an off night. That is perfectly fine. Because guess what? That nigga next to him.
It's been a few years since I didn't have to do Warriors math for the scoreboard. Like, oh, y'all down by 2, y'all really down by 7. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's been a while since I had to do that.
But you might have to go back to it. Yeah, they're back.
The way Kuminga playing and what Wiseman can get back to, and when Clay get back in his rhythm, and when Draymond get back.
If there's ever a time you need to have that sound where it goes, they're back, this is where you need it.
But back to the Diamond anniversary. So the one huge thing that I want to point out
is that my daddy looks like Michael Jordan, and that shit scared the hell out of me all weekend. I'm like, that's not my
He's
father.
Somewhere between.
That is not my dad.
Like, if Clyde the Glide and Jordan had a baby, it'd definitely be a pop.
It was disgusting. I love my daddy, but I can't handle that.
But the one thing that I don't know if they realized that they made unanimous. They made the GOAT conversation unanimous. For basketball. It's not unanimous in everybody's eyes, but they kind of made it unanimous because they put out a list after they did the 75 of who actually is the greatest of all time. And
I saw that Steph is ranked like 12. Or 11 on that list.
Yeah, it was a lot of confusion with that. I when they laid out the criteria, I was like, they don't know that they pointed who. So they said
Kareem was first on the list.
No,
it wasn't.
They said on the list it went Jordan, LeBron, Kareem. That was the
and
top.
Nobody agreed.
And then Magic was at 4.
Yeah, I did see that.
But when they started laying out the criteria why it was wrong, I figured out who the GOAT is.
Me.
Because the criteria was like, okay, what does their career look like? Stats wise, championship wise, do they have multiple championships and did they fill the stats? And you know whose name came up first?
Mine.
Wilt Chamberlain. And everybody knows Wilt. Wilt scored over 100 on and off the court. He had a season where he averaged 50 and 30 rebounds. I could tell everybody that's never happening again. And he got 2 rings. They was like, well, Wilt got to be somewhere in there because that's who Wilt is. But they was like, well, you can't put him over Bill Russell because the reason he only had 2 rings is because he went against Bill. Everybody knows Bill won 11 championships in 13 years.
Dang.
That will never happen in any sport.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he is basketball. His resume is as long as it gets. But they was like, yo, Bill wasn't as effective as all the other players. So when you put them together and you make a baby out of both of their situations, you know who you get? Kareem. Kareem is the GOAT. Kareem ended with 6 championships and he was unstoppable. He's the greatest college basketball player ever and the greatest NBA player. It's Kareem.
I can see that.
When they laid out all the statistics, this is my non-biased opinion, Kareem is number 1. Bill and Wilt is number 2 and 3. Then you can get into the LeBron and Jordan debate. But those 3, based on their criteria, that's your GOAT. That's your Mount Rushmore right there.
That's me what personally, you strive to be like.
Yeah, me personally, I got LeBron number 1. I got Kareem right there. I got Bill Russell following. That's my top 3. You can't move those 3 in my mind. Jordan would have to go 4 or 5. But they didn't, for some reason, when they was laying out the criteria, they didn't land there. Like, I think Jordan's popularity is like religious blasphemy. Like, you don't go against him. You know what I'm saying? So they ignoring the criteria. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, I like that. I like that. And I like the older players talking, right? Like when they asked Kareem, because Kareem is Kareem, he was like, nah, I seen players better than Jordan. And then they asked Bill.
And it's on note, like, and the crazy part is like everybody's like, oh, it's on some disrespect shit. Like those people don't really ever talk in a disrespect tone of voice. It's just I've seen better. I'm not saying he's bad. Like I think he's good, but I've seen better in my lifetime.
The good thing about like our legends is they show respect to the older players. So when Jordan heard that, he was like, I'm not arguing with those guys. Like I watched them as a kid.
And if they say that they seen somebody better, then there probably is somebody better than me. Like I'm okay with that.
Shaq says that all the time. He was like, if y'all ever want to say Kareem or Bill, he was like, in my mind, nobody is better than me. But if Kareem or Bill say they was better than me, he was like, I'm gonna own that.
I mean, you always want to hype yourself up. You're always gonna be your biggest cheerleader in your career. But there's always going to be those people where if they were to say something, you don't argue it. You basically agree. Like, okay. If you say that there's like, if you say you saw somebody better than me or that you were better than me, I agree.
Like to me, in my mind, the top 4 people, if they ever told me who the GOAT is, I have no arguments. Bill Russell, Kareem, Jerry West, LeBron James. I'm not arguing with those 4. The reason why Kareem went against all the greatest players. He is the greatest player. Bill Russell won 11 championships out of 13 years.
Yeah.
You have to go against everybody for over a decade and you lost twice. You know what I'm saying? I can't argue with you about basketball. That's stupid. Jerry West is one of the greatest players and GMs, which means not only can he do the job, he can teach it. Oh, and in the Dream, my bad, the Dream is 5 players. Jerry West found Steph, you know what I'm saying? Like he found everybody. He found Magic, he found all of them. He's the logo of the NBA for a reason. He's whoever the face of the NBA, he probably had something to do with it. You know what I'm saying? He was the face of the NBA, he found him. The Warriors wanted nothing to do with Steph. They called Jerry. Jerry was like, him.
Go get him.
I don't want nothing to do with y'all if y'all don't go get him. Yeah. Then he was like, Draymond, go get him. Clay, go get him. Keep them no matter what. Because there was a lot of times where they was going to get rid of all 3 of them. I think Steph's case, he started his career injured the first 4 out of 5 years. Anybody else would have got him out of there.
Yeah.
When Jerry West tell you keep him, he told you to keep him for a reason.
And look at where it's led them.
You know what I'm saying?
Now they don't want to get rid of him.
Draymond told him, Draymond is going to be the most important piece out of everybody.
Mm-hmm.
If you get rid of him, you're a fool. He is the most important piece. They got a better offer. They got like a star. I think it was an offer for like a Kobe type player for Klay Thompson. They was going to give him up in a heartbeat. He said, don't break that up. You don't know what this is going to turn. He said, this is going to be the 2 greatest shooters of all time. Jerry told you that before it was even true. You know what I'm saying? So,
and now as you watch it, it's like you think if the Warriors were to ever break that up, everybody's going to think they fucking insane. Yeah. They don't want to break up, of course. Yeah. Like they've always been super big on they want to stay together for their career. Like this is it for them. They don't want it.
But Jerry is just good, and he's got basketball freedom. You know what I'm saying? Like he can walk in anybody's arena. Nobody's charging him for a ticket. Nobody's asking him where he's going. It's a restricted area. Like Jerry's good everywhere. You know what I'm saying? He's at that point. Like I said, anything basketball related, I'm listening to Jerry. The Dream, I say that because the Dream develops players. He is the Jerry West of developing players. People don't know that the Dream is the only person that could beat Jordan in the Jordan era. even though they didn't have to face each other, he went before Jordan in his own draft class. Jordan went number 3. People don't know that. They talk about Jordan like he's the greatest thing smoking, but he was 3rd in his own draft. He got skipped over by the Rockets and he got skipped over by Portland. And the Dream created people. He created Shaq. Shaq could not move or play like he did until he took a visit to Hakeem Olajuwon's house. Any big man you name, Tim Duncan, he taught Tim Duncan. Any big man you can name that you love, any guard that can rebound or do a post move, the Dream. You can name anybody. I literally mean anybody.
Right.
If you went in the NBA and you became something with rebounds and points, you went to the Dream's house. He's the Dream for a reason.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, like in LeBron, because LeBron is going to be the longest person to do it, let's call it. He's been this star since high school, and he played over 2 decades in the NBA. I'm not arguing with him over who the GOAT is. You played everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you was a top 5 player until you was a grandpa, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not arguing with you over nobody. When LeBron said, yo, Steph is the greatest shooter on earth, he played 2 decades of the greatest people on earth. And he was like, this motherfucker's nice. You know what I'm saying? Like,
he's it.
You know what I'm saying? Like, when he go and be like, yo, I want to play with KD and Giannis, they're unstoppable. When he was like, yo, I want to play with Kawhi, the mute, he's unstoppable, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I always forget he doesn't really talk to people.
Like, you got LeBron probably started his first year, he played Jordan. Next couple years, he played Kobe. Next couple years, he played KD. After that, he had a rivalry with Tim Duncan. Then he had a rivalry with Steph. Like, listen to the generation.
Yeah.
Like, when you got rivalries like that and you beat them all, like when we talk about legendary teams and players, a nice chunk of that, when we go over to 75, you might have played 35 of them motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Can't nobody argue with you over the GOAT conversation.
Agreed.
You know what I'm saying? So I love that diamond anniversary. I can't wait. Man, I think
25 years.
I was about to say when the 100th anniversary come out, that's when you gonna have a problem because you're gonna be looking at that list and you're gonna be like, where the fuck did they put Clay? You know what I'm saying? Like, you gonna be out there pissed.
Acting a fool.
I think
acting a whole fool.
To be honest, I think by that time,
because I'll be in my 50s, so yeah.
I think by that time, Steph is gonna be top 5. I think KD is gonna be top 5. I think Giannis is gonna be top 5.
Yeah.
Off of one championship, Giannis is
already big.
His resume is ridiculous. Like, he doing stuff that nobody ever did before he even got the championship. And then he got it the way he got it, where your center is pushing point and he giving you 50 points and triple doubles and shit like that.
Ordering 50 nuggets.
Like, to me, the only person that could pass his resume is the Joker.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not really the Joker. I take that back because he never was like
the Joker doesn't like to push point. The Joker,
it ain't
I think
that.
if you like,
it's his defense.
Yeah.
Like, Giannis was a multiple-time defensive player of the year. It's hard to get that once.
The Joker's not big on, like, I feel like to play defense, you have to move more. He's not big on wanting to do that.
Yeah.
He has great defense.
Yeah.
It's not to say he doesn't have great defense. He just doesn't like to move around like that. So it just doesn't bother.
It's just tough. Like, I got Giannis in there. That's the only people when them careers start dwindling to the end. I got Steph, KD, and Giannis, the only ones creeping in there with LeBron.
I feel it.
It's certain people I don't want to move that I don't think. Like, Larry Bird is moving out. Let's be real. We don't want to move Larry Bird out.
I guess the plus side with the 100 is it's really, do you keep the 75 you already have and just add 25 more players?
Nah,
or do you get some of like the old heads out?
They're gonna rearrange it because it's just like in football, right? Like, I heard a lot of them talk and they was like, yo, the standard used to be you had to go to a Super Bowl. And then it turned into,
bring that up,
yo,
it's not
you gotta
like that anymore.
like, and then they was like, yo, you gotta have one ring. Now it's like two. You gotta have at least two. They was talking about that with Aaron Rodgers. They was like, yo, your gift is the stats. A lot of these quarterbacks got your stats now, and Matt Stafford just now y'all in the same boat, just that fast, bro. You got to get another one. You know what I'm saying? Like you adding up these MVPs, but they not adding up to nothing. So they moving the bar.
There's certain accolades in the NFL that they just don't look at anymore. It's not becoming as big of a deal to people. Yeah. I don't care if you've got all team anything anymore. It used to be a big thing to get all team or all first team, all second team defense. They don't care anymore. There's a lot of it does go into rings. I do think I said this before, and I'll probably
only for the quarterback position though.
I'll probably continue to say it is Stafford could have got into the Hall of Fame without a ring.
Yeah.
Not first ballot. First ballot's a lot easier when you have rings and you have more accolades.
Yeah.
You do need those as a first ballot. But on like a third times the charm type of thing, ballot, he could have easily gotten it without that ring. That ring boosts him up to make it sooner. Yeah. But he's still his stats alone
he was and what he jacket.
What he went through and what he did to persevere and push through his whole career is a big thing that people.
And it's the legacy you leave behind, right? Like
he did.
He created two of the greatest wide receivers ever. Mm-hmm. Between Megatron and Cooper Kupp, like now
made Cooper Kupp the new Megatron.
Yeah, like it's getting to the point where people gonna feel like, yo, if you got Stafford there's no reason you shouldn't be the greatest receiver ever. Right. Like if you think about it, you could have put Stafford with Julio. Julio would have shattered everything Megatron did. If you would have put him with Keenan Allen, Mike Evans, people like that, they could easily shatter that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the legacy that Stafford built. Like, yo, it don't matter if you know I'm going to him, you still ain't going to stop us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the legacy. Even with Golden Tate. Golden Tate was a small receiver. But Stafford was I'm going to him, and you're not going to do nothing about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think Kenny Golladay, I think that just snapped in his head. Going from playing with Stafford his last years there and be like, yo, I'm going to the Giants. I'm going to still be me. And
it's not the same.
Now we don't even hear your name, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, I still believe you the same receiver, but
when you don't have the type of quarterback you need as a player, then that becomes a whole issue on its own.
But I'm glad that let's finish strong. What you got? Or you
I don't really have
we coming
anything.
off an all-star break.
Yeah, the games pick up tomorrow. I will say this, next week, I know this episode is all about all-star. Next week's episode is probably going to be a lot about the combine because the combine will take place Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
On potential NFL moves.
So it's going to probably be mostly NFL.
Yeah, it's gonna be football.
Mama's dominant. Sport is coming back, and Mama's about to be attached to the TV.
It's Daddy's Sport the TV. Right now. I fucking love it.
I'm gonna be glued to my TV for a whole
I'll be real. I get emotional over basketball. I don't get emotional over football.
Like, I get emotional over football. I get irritated at stupid shit people do
though. Like when D-Wade was on that run, right? Like his goodbye tour. Yeah. I was emotional. I was definitely emotional for VC and Dirk.
And that's after I repeatedly told you they are retiring. They are retiring. You're like, no, the fuck they're not.
Because I thought you was just trying to make me mad.
I wasn't.
Like VC, I got it. VC, like, I got it, but Dirk didn't say anything.
When I first said it, I was doing it to like be vindictive. But when I started like picking up on small like cues and stuff, I was like, no, like they're really retiring.
Yeah.
And you like argued it. And then when Dirk finally said something his last game, you was like,
it didn't come off as hate to me when somebody gave up their all-star spot so Dirk could be in there. I was like, all right, so this might not be hate. This might be real.
Right. Like, I was like,
I was like,
I did the first time I said it, which was, of course, at like the beginning of the season. I was saying it to be like a little asshole. But as I continued watching it and I picked up on like subtle cues here and there, I was like, no, like they're legitimately done. Like, I was kind of just kidding at the beginning, but I really did pick up, like, they really are done.
D Rose was another one I got emotional for, just because D Rose is like the original John Wall. Like, He just never was healthy. And then to be like, before the mental health shit got, you could see it. Like, he was, when he did interviews, I remember one time he had just got a big contract and he was like, I just want to make the most out of this contract because I'm thinking about life after basketball because I don't even know if I could do it no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was doing interviews saying everything you shouldn't say. He was like, yo, I can't stay healthy. I don't know why. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got these major injuries that I shouldn't even bounce back from. And then when he got to Minnesota and he dropped the 50 ball, like, that was emotional to me because I was like, he hit rock bottom, and to go from rock bottom to a 50-pointer is crazy. And he just been having good seasons ever since. So I got a little emotional for that. I'm gonna get emotional again because I feel like our generation is moving into the old man category. Yeah. And when I say our generation, I mean these is the people who was the closest to our age that I've watched and I probably played against at some point. You know what I'm saying? Like, during AAU or a game like that, like, we ran into each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, and now I'm about to see you retire. Like, that's tough. That's tough to me. Like, LeBron is gonna be tough because I was in middle school waiting to see what LeBron was gonna do. Like, damn, is he going to a college? Right. Is he gonna come to Michigan? Oh, he going to the league? All right, cool. You know what I'm saying? So when I see that's gonna be an emotional point for me. Next is probably gonna be KD, OJ Mayo, that age. I played against OJ Mayo. So if I just see him be like, yo, I'm done, I'm be like, nigga, we just retired, bro. Like, you just retired our whole class, our whole high school class. Like, you just called it quits. You know what I'm saying? Like,
we're not that old yet.
Yeah, like, wait. I think I'm gonna be emotional about that.
I want.
Is that De'Erica?
Yes.
Whatever. But what finish strong you got? Remember, it's coming out of All-Star break. Shit getting serious.
The Warriors are gonna take over the Sun spot because they lost Chris Paul. Only because I can see that happening. I don't know how they're gonna do it without him.
Yeah, that's very real.
And Clay's coming back with his 100% clock time. Draymond is supposed to be back in another week. Steph, let's be honest. And the young guys have gotten all their little extra. Not all of them rested this weekend. A lot of them was out practicing and doing shit. So they ready for it. It's theirs to lose.
I got a take that's going to be very annoying to me, but I feel it's going to be true. I feel like Brooklyn is going to win the championship.
I don't.
And KD is going to get dubbed as the now greatest player. He going to get that hype.
You have a lot of faith in them. I don't.
They keep getting deeper and younger. Like, their ability to draw people to them is what's pissing me off, to be honest.
But it never works out.
Like I told you before, Ben Simmons wasn't a heavy move to me because I don't know how he's going to gel personality-wise, and he already proved he'd quit on the team. But the bigger moves to me was Seth and Drummond. You know what I'm saying? Like, they are anchors that you need to win a championship. And then when you added the Dragon and Joe Harris can come back, bro, all you really needed was KD in that mix and you could win the championship. You know what I'm saying? Like, Joe Harris shooting percentage was the highest 3-point percentage. Like, if Seth was close, Joe was in front of him. So when you add these pieces and you tell Ben Simmons all he got to do at minimum is play defense, KD getting his ring, and you already know if KD get ring number 3, they already about to start. KD's always been the greatest player of all time. They about to start running with it. Me personally, I'm hoping that Miami get it. I want Victor Oladipo to come back healthy. and I want them to just run through everybody. If not, I know this is halfway annoying, but I want Embiid to get there. I watched Embiid. He's been injury prone his whole career. He's a big man. So him being healthy ain't gonna last. That's just what happened to big man.
Right.
And he playing the best ball of his career. I want that to work out for him. Why he playing the best ball of his career. But on the West Coast, it's like you said, when Chris Paul hand fucked up,
it opens the door.
Now you battling between Golden State and Memphis. And to tell you the truth, that's Golden State's game to lose because Memphis is 12 years old. You know what I'm saying?
Golden State, although they do have a lot of young players, you've got the vets to overtake.
To me, I feel like if they don't get that 1 seed, it's because they chose not to, and they know they need to take their foot off the gas to last through the playoffs.
Yeah,
they really
and that might be and I can see as much as like I can see them going for that first spot because they easily could get there.
Yeah,
I could also see Kerr saying, "Let's step back. Like we can keep 2. I'm fine with being 2."
I think he fine
with
one.
Ourselves.
Yeah, I think he fine with 1 through 3 as far as spots.
Yeah,
in the playoffs. It's when you get to 4 where you need to be sweating bullets because now every round is difficult.
Yeah, and I mean, even if the Suns do fall off, it's not a big deal. They did already say with their last win, the lowest they could get is playing. They can't get any lower than playing. They won't go any lower than playing.
Yeah. I heard that they already got their spot.
Yeah, they basically are in the playoffs. No matter what, they're there, which is good for them. Just a matter of where are you going to fall when it's all said and done. Where do you want to be at?
This part of the season, I look for comeback players, the people that's been injured who had the time to recover, had time to get back. I don't think
Jamal Murray's coming back this year.
For real?
Unfortunately, I've been following like his injury and stuff. And he's rehabbing. He hasn't been cleared for 5-on-5.
To tell you the truth,
and by now, if he hasn't cleared for 5-on-5, I just don't.
To tell you the truth, I've been getting curious about KD because they said his injury was minor, but he ain't been back in a while.
They said that he should be back next week or the week after.
They said that before All-Star break too. They said he should have been back, and he was still nursing that injury.
I mean, but that's why like everybody's hyping up the Nets. KD is very injury prone, and if he plays with an injury, the injury is just gonna get worse. I called it when AD got hurt. I was like, "That's cool. He played through it, but it's gonna come back to bite him in the ass."
That's another thing.
Here we see it.
I'm curious to see.
He's gonna be AD's not being reevaluated until the middle of March.
4 weeks. Yeah.
They said they won't look at it. Because normally the normal thing would probably be to check in 2 weeks. And then check 2 weeks later just to see progress and where they're going. The Lakers staff specifically said we will not look at it until 4 weeks.
And this is
and we won't guarantee that.
That's what I'm waiting to see because it's a lot of things I want to see because I'm a LeBron fan. I want to see how you handle the next part of this.
I don't think they can do it. LeBron's been hurt.
No, not even that. I want to see where his mindset is. I want to know if he gonna go into LeBron mode where he like, yo, we getting in the playoffs, and he just do all the work like he used to.
I said it last year.
And or if he is really fell out with the Lakers organization, and he like, yo, fuck this year, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm leaving after this because that's the next thing. If he ever get to a point where he like, yo, I don't want to take over, that means his mind, he already out the door. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I really want to know how he gonna address this second half because I really believe if he go OD, then he gonna try to fix a few things like, yo, Russ, we gonna really need to figure out how to get you going. Melo, you old, but we gonna need you healthy, so we gonna have to manage you. You know what I'm saying? Dwight, you old too, but we gotta manage you if we really want to make a respectable run. Or if he just gonna be like, I'm getting the fuck out of LA.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's a lot. I think there's a lot for him to decide. I honestly think last year the Warriors could have beat them, and they came close because they only lost by what, like 5 points?
It was only a few points.
And had the Warriors been at full strength like they are now, there's no way. No way.
But LeBron spoke about it. He knew after that game that they wasn't gonna win.
Yeah.
Because he said they was too injured. They weren't even supposed to make it through that game. He said they was all beat up in that game.
But the Warriors were equally as beat up. So.
And he said that game took more out of them than they had. And I was like,
it's gonna be that way this year though. It's not any different. It's do you have the energy to get through it? If you don't, then you don't. Because
no, it wasn't energy. He said that he was playing through the groin injury that never he never rehabilitated.
But that'll be the same thing this year. Is do you have it in you to play through it again?
That's why I said I want to see if he take his foot off the gas.
This year is gonna be even harder because Memphis is young, but they got more. They don't have the injury problem you guys have
right now. I feel like if he play hard, it's because he's gonna pass Kareem this year. That's what his plan is. Like, Kareem has an all-time point record that should never be touched. You know what I'm saying? And he got an opportunity to pass it this year. And I feel like that's all he really got to play for. Or Russ is like, yo, I'm playing for my career. Because with Russ, that's a real thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, if Russ comes to a LeBron team and y'all play like trash, nobody's gonna touch you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So LeBron could be playing just to make sure he get a job next year. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I'm curious to see how that play out. I'm curious to see the health of the Warriors because I don't like how often Draymond has been injured.
So his injury this year is a lot more significant. It's to his back. Normally when Draymond has an injury, it's like a little small knee issue or an arm issue. It's his back. And they're being overly cautious as far as back injuries can cause so many other things. Word. And they don't want that for him. They want him to be as healthy as he can, even if that means he can't play.
And he getting older too. So, but that was finished strong, man. Y'all already know. We got a basketball Jones and a football one too. Woo-hoo. We see y'all. Peace.
Feel like a new system.